sorry. That was really bad timing.
I even told you I was gonna not do that.
I'm sorry. It just came out.
Oh, well, we're back. Hey. What's up, TPK? Queen's Gambit is back. Heyo, after a little hiatus. And we're just gonna start out, since it's been a minute, we're gonna just start going around for everybody and reintroduce ourselves, starting with Heck.
All right, hey friends, it's me, Sir Hecklot. We're back. We're back at it again, and I am back at it with Aster, the Shifter Circle Wildfire Druid. Let's see what we get into in Waterdeep. Moving on over to Niffer.
What's up? I'm Niffer. I'm very much awake. I promise. I need to yawn again. I am playing Eliseo, who is an Aasimar time wizard. They're very cool and very excited to process and learn some things this session, maybe. It's been a long time coming, so yeah. Icarus.
Hiya, it's me, Hyacinth, and I'm playing Icarus, our elven bardlock. Yeah, and next I'll hand over to my twinsy, Juno.
That's me, Juno. I am the pallid elf cleric of the party. I prepared healing spells. Thank you. I'm gonna pass it off to Olta.
Hey guys, Olta, our Kobold Ranger, Swarmkeeper Ranger.
All right, and I'm that Magic Juice. I am the shepherd of this lovely clouder. And this is Tyranny of Dragons, TPK-ified. If you think you know the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, you probably do. This is going to be boring and you should go home. Oh, I'm out of practice. It's been a while. Just kidding. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. So if you are in the TPK Discord, you may have noticed a few little teasers that we dropped. Thank you for linking that. And there's actually a Google Doc attached to the announcement for this episode going live. If you're interested in checking out all those teasers all in one place, you can click on that link, and it's just a simple Google Doc with all of it. We are actually going to, after the brief recap I'm going to give of our last session, get our brains rolling on what happened last time, we're going to have a brief discussion with the cast about those teasers, because they contain a lot of, in some cases, deep lore into the world, in some cases, deep lore into their individual backstories, interactions with other people in the world, that sort of thing. And we've seen hints at some of it already through our show, and we're going to see more in many cases as we go. So, recap of last time. We've been along the road to Waterdeep for quite some time, months at this point, actually, and we've been a little bit fast-tracking the travel, but taking advantage of the time to do some crafting projects, some training, miscellaneous downtime activities. So I think a couple have already been completed, actually, so we're going to see some new custom player homebrewed stuff, essentially, so that's going to be pretty neat. Along the road, we've picked up Azbara Jos, a uniquely garbed and accented individual who's requested help getting to Waterdeep in exchange for payment. He is now our second passenger in addition to the gnome Jamna, Gleamsilver. I don't know if I told you guys her last name. Gleamsilver. Generally speaking, the party is super sus of both of them for various reasons. At night, at one particular night during our last session, we were attacked by a combination of giant spiders and ettercaps. Ettercaps are like spider beings, but they're... What is it called when they walk on hind legs only? Is that bipedal? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have like the face and mandibles of spiders, but they have bodies of like a humanoid with weird claws. Anywho, they attack the group, starting with the horses. They're going for some food, and we learn that this is like very out of place for those creatures. And they had a particularly potent malice. They were way out of, like, they're normally in deep woods, if visible to people at all, and they had ventured out of that usual territory to come essentially hunting, and they found some things that they wanted to go for. That fight was also unique in that when each one was killed, a sort of essence emanated from it, and then when all of them were killed, they combined into this sort of shadowy being and formed into one final super giant spider. And then at the end of that, this essence sort of reformed again, and each person in the group ended up with this. You could swear that this essence was looking at you. All 5 of you could swear that it was looking at you before dissipating off. After that, we get into some more travel time, where we eventually do get caught up to the group of carts ahead of us. And the party here has some plans. So we're going to get into that after we have a little discussion about all of the teasers that came out over the last couple weeks for the party. So every individual character in the party had a little bit of a lore drop directly related to them before we got here. So I'm going to just leave it kind of open floor for you guys. We'll keep it brief-ish so we can get into the session for sure. But this is all relevant stuff. So what do you guys want to talk about with those teasers?
I will go last because Olta's was our segue into this episode. So,
okay.
If anyone else wants to go first.
There is stuff about Olta's that is not directly related, but yes, the way it ended is the segue into starting this episode.
Yes, that's why I shall wait.
Okay.
So.
And this is like out of character talk or in character talk? Because we don't know each other's dreams.
This is gonna be out of character. Yeah. This is like for you as the players to understand. In some, like I said, in some cases, like deep lore about the world around you that maybe you didn't know that your character could know. My interpretations of your backstories as you've given them to me, and sort of like fleshing out some details that maybe you didn't, and then so if there's anything about any of that that you want to get more insight so that you have more knowledge of your character.
So mine, did it feel like a memory, or was it a dream?
You would know for sure that you were dreaming a memory. A memory of yours, yeah.
That's how I interpret it. That's good.
Man, I don't know, like, after seeing very straightforward, I just really enjoyed the dramatic irony aspect of it. So it's like, oh no, I know what happens next after this one, but Aster doesn't know that yet. Now she knows, of course, in the current times, but in the time of that memory, yeah, she doesn't know what's gonna happen next. So I don't know. Like, it was very straightforward. Oh man.
That's how Eliseo's was too. It's just like the memory was of their parents and of them getting a book from their parents, and we figured out like right before this, like that's the one thing that Eliseo grabbed when they were escaping of like their parents dying. And so it's like, oh, okay, I know what happens next to them. It's like, okay.
So for both of you, in both of your cases, there's actually like a little bit of a similar style tease at the end. Aster, your mother and essentially your trainer had this exchange of like, you still can't see it, can you? And we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So there's a little
like, okay.
Uh-oh. And then Niffer for Eliseo, there's a little almost like a nursery rhyme that you kind of chanted at the end of it.
Yeah.
That
Which
is
is
relevant.
great, but I know very little about this world at all. So when it starts Waterdeep and Candlekeep, mysteries abound. I'm like, well, yeah, they do. I know nothing about. Like, what's a Candlekeep?
Okay, so here's where we could say we can use that teaser. You would know from your research and studies, essentially to become a wizard takes a lot of intensive research and study and practice. So it would be reasonable for you to know that Candlekeep and the libraries within Waterdeep collectively are the largest amassings of text and history in the world that you live in.
All right.
Ooh, cool.
What else? If anything. If not, we can just get right into it.
Juno's annoyed that she's being reminded that she needs to do footwork skills and stuff like that to get better at using her warhammer. She knows. We're aware.
I was
Good
reading
God.
Juno's and I was like, oh my god.
I have questions
Yeah.
about Olta's
Sure.
and the war that her teacher discussed with her.
Mm-hmm.
If that's something that when she is waking up from said dream, if she has memory of or more information about, because she's wondering if it's relevant to everything currently happening.
Sure. So in Olta's case, this was not a dream per se. It was like you're kind of tinkering in the cart, and you just kind of drift off. We have to realize and respect the fact that our travel time was literally months. So there's just a lot of time essentially just being. So this is a case where you just had this sort of drifting to a memory, probably likely because you're on your way back to Waterdeep. You're on your way back to your home. And this particular memory is it relevant to the things that are happening now? It would be nearly impossible to say. But it was more of like a hint at what the contents of Waterdeep entail. And this statue that young Yu was climbing on is one of, I believe, 8 what they call, sometimes they're called walking giants, sometimes they're called the walking statues, things like that. And people who know the history, or in some cases may or may not have been there themselves, understand that they came about from a great conflict between several gods. And it was of such proportions that it literally ripped the space between planes, and these beings just like started coming here by accident. And in this case, it was like, think of like the Greek Titans. It's kind of that proportion. And they kind of like just started causing chaos in this area. And then for whatever reason, they just stopped. And now there are these gargantuan statues in the city of Waterdeep. And Olta, you would have at least seen and been around all of them at any point. Some of them are even like built onto, like buildings are built around them and on them, and incorporated with them.
So, knowing that, do I know like what's it? I know you said it just like the war just stopped randomly, but do I know like which gods were like the main? When I think Clash of the Titans, I think of like a group of people, like, you know what I mean? I think of like multiple gods like battling each other. Was it like
Right.
1 or 2 going at it, or is there?
No, you know it was
Okay.
more than 1 or 2. You'd also know that it was actually at the point that the god of death was killed. And the current god of death, Kalimvor, was essentially appointed to godhood at that point. He was particularly trying to do that. He was not involved with that conflict. It wasn't like he wanted to be the new god of death, so he set on this plot. It was just like he was kind of already on his way, but this conflict sped the process up of appointing him to godhood. And he was actually human before that. I would have to go back. I don't want to waste too much time trying to find the note again, but you would have known it was at least 4 or 5 gods involved in that conflict, and at least 2 of them were killed in the process, including the god of death at the time.
Check. Okay, awesome. And then there was another question, but I am drawing a blank, so we'll just move along, and if I think of it, we'll go ahead and ask.
Okay.
Oh, and now I remember. Just kidding.
Okay.
In it, that said that I was climbing on the statue, but it was not a noble. It's not a knight. It was a noble. Hang on. Let me go back. So the statue itself was one of the gods. Do I know which one I was climbing on?
The statues are not gods.
Oh.
The statues are like Titan-esque beings from another plane.
Okay.
That like them coming here was entirely an accident as a result of just this massive clash of magical energy when the gods had their conflict. So the one the one in your little memory here is called the Honorable Knight. But that's like what the people of this world decided to call it. Nobody really knows anything about it.
Okay.
And your teacher, as an extension of what they were telling you, sort of as part of that little teaser memory, was like, well, this was no noble, like this was an agent of chaos, just like all the others, sort of thing. He just looks like a knight.
Right. Yes.
Or she.
Okay, that's all I have, I think.
Cool. Anything else? Okay. If not, then we will essentially, and like I said earlier, I'm not like overriding or superseding. You guys did tell me you had a list of things you'd want to do before actually getting to Waterdeep, including interactions with other cultists. So we're at the point that your 3 carts has caught up with the next group of, we'll say 3 in front of you. And by this point, you'd also see that there are other groups not so far ahead anymore as well. So within eyeshot, you can see other groups as if the split up kind of slowed down as you're getting closer to Waterdeep. So we're going to enter now in character with Olta. You notice that your pack is glowing a little bit, and then when you go check it out, you see that it's the sending stone that Jamna had given you from the Harpers. And when you touch it, you can hear the message in your mind that's at the end of your little doodle. So, what do you do?
I will respond. And I don't know, does Olta know if there's like a word limit on sending stone, or is there not? Would she know this stuff? Would Jamna have told her?
Jamna would not have known really much of anything about it other than to tell you that it was a sending stone. The rule, okay, I don't want to get caught up in rules like that. So I'm going to say, just by like, you didn't technically attune with it, but like being with it and being its intended recipient, you would understand that there's a limit to how much you can say. There's a limit to how many times it can be used per day. 1. And that certain things will and will not happen depending upon if the message you send is received at all or not.
Check. So I will respond. with a general response of currently with travelers is new information confidential. Should I find a more secured location?
I'll let you retcon that piece if you want, because just as a quick reminder, you're hearing the message in your mind. You know that it's not like broadcasting out loud from the stone. Or are you still asking that?
She doesn't have a very high intelligence.
Okay.
So I'm playing into the fact that she probably doesn't know how to use this thing because nobody's really explained it to her. Likely she's holding it into her hand and speaking into the ear shape. Like she probably doesn't know what she's doing.
Okay, you do have to do that.
Okay.
So that won't change when you do learn more about it. Repeat for me, please, what you said. I should write it down.
Oh God, my memory's trash.
Oh, sorry, mine too.
Go.
Is it confidential information? Should you find a secure location?
Thank you, Heck. Yes, that. I'm traveling with people. I also mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Heck. I appreciate you.
Me too.
Oh.
Okay. So after you send that, you would the stone will stop glowing, and you'd understand this to indicate that the message has been received by the intended recipient. And you'd also know now that you essentially have to wait until tomorrow to get a response, at least via the sending stones.
Heck.
Okay. It's morning on a day you're about 5 days from Waterdeep at this point. So after that interaction, Olta, nobody around you, namely Jamna and Azbara, seemed to hear that, or if they did, they didn't do anything about it. You are in a cart with, was it Juno?
I think Aster? Or was it Juno? I don't remember.
You know what? For this, I don't think it's
If you're
particularly
near
important.
Sabaro, you're near me.
I
But
knew-
if you're not
yeah.
near Sabaro, because I'm gonna fight him. I don't know when, don't know why yet, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay, so you're all close enough together that I'm just gonna wait that, and I don't think it's necessarily important enough. But if you guys want to make it important enough to separate people, then we can go that route. Does that sound fair? Private conversations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So what are we
Also
thinking?
teaching my brother how to drive. I don't know if 3 months on the road has actually done anything for that, but
Yeah, I think I technically still don't know how to drive, so
I mean, you should have had enough hours by now.
Yeah,
been
exactly.
working
How
on
many have you been
why didn't you
logging
make this
them?
your
That's
skill?
important.
Yeah.
no one told me I needed to log it. Oh my
This
gosh.
should be in your downtime
Well, you're gonna have to
projects.
start over.
That might have to be my next one, honestly.
I mean, look, I would absolutely just sign a blank permission check of yeah, you got all your hours, okay?
There you go.
No log needed.
Okay, so we did talk about we have 5 more opportunities to work on any downtime activities, so maybe we should whip that out real quick. And there's enough time in the day that even if you decide to have conversations and do other things, that this can still happen, because again, it's still kind of like a fast forwarded 1 per day instead of 1 per hour sort of thing.
So is this for our skill points? That we have 5 more skill points we could add?
Yes.
Okay.
For or whatever project you're working on. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood the question. 5 more skill points if you're working on your project each day, and then another for each successful roll if you're trying to roll to do anything specifically.
So I'm glad I logged this last time. I think I'm the first one to get 10 failures on rolls, so
Uh-oh.
oh boy.
What were you working on?
That necklace, that enchantment project.
Okay. And how many successes did you have?
Let me look at that. I had 19.
Okay. And we said you needed 30?
I don't remember. Did I put that on the sheet? I did not.
We're gonna say it was 30. I rolled a 3. Crafting notes. Okay. I rolled a 3 on your what happens if you fail table, or my what happens if you fail table. And a 3 is you lose. So you essentially like either mess up a piece of the enchantment or break one of the physical components of this.
Oof.
And to flip that into the mechanics that we put together for crafting, this is going to be you have lost 1d10 success points. You keep the skill points because your practice is not lost. But yeah, roll a d10.
8.
Oof.
This is fine.
And now your failures reset, but your successes continue from where they are now. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we got going on?
I believe I need more successes to finish my spell. Because I'm at 33 successes, and I believe it's a 2nd level spell.
Yes.
So I need to do successes. So it's 1 success if I succeed, and then 1 skill point as well, right?
Yes. Plus 1 skill
Okay.
point for even attempting.
And then we have okay, so I'll roll them in D&D Beyond so you can see them. And they were performance is what they were.
Mm-hmm. And the DC is going to be 10 plus the level of the spell minus your skill-specific proficiency, not your basic proficiency.
So 12 minus
For now, it's just
proficiency?
12. Yeah. Remember,
Okay.
Remember how we had those different tiers? Like once
So
you reach
one,
a certain number of skill points.
okay, I have 1 too many, but I have a natural 20.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay, and the
I was only supposed to do
the nat
5,
20
but
is a
we'll just take
crit.
off the last one.
The nat 20 is a crit, so that's an extra success and skill point.
Okay, so that is 6.
Nice.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so I'm at 39 skill points. That. Okay. Cool.
Okay, anything else?
It's probably why I probably failed my driver's test because I was too busy writing sheet music.
I did mine for Juno and just added them onto the sheet. I am 1 away from failing this whole project.
Oh no.
And then 2
What
away from successfully getting through this.
Oh, you can do it.
And this
Oh, you're
particular
so
project
close.
was
Finesse with a Warhammer.
finesse with a warhammer. Okay.
And then eventually, I think after Waterdeep, I'll start on or once we get to Waterdeep, I'll start on the project we talked about outside of this.
Okay.
I made rolls for all of them, and I nat 20 twice.
Nice.
Yes.
And you're working on another spell, correct?
Another spell.
Okay.
I love magic.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then this... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Chrissy.
I didn't want to interrupt. Yeah. Olta would definitely be working on her animal handling, but I garbage memory once again. Don't remember how many skill points I needed or how many successes I needed. I don't remember quite how this goes. I am the worst player.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
You're good.
I forget all the time, which is why I have to ask every time. I didn't even. I was
like sitting here, and you guys are just spouting off numbers, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't remember how to do this at all.
I was just grateful that I didn't get to where I needed to go, so that way I didn't have to ask.
We just can't take a whole month off again.
Yeah.
So that I can consistently do this and like.
I would be in the same boat as you, except for I just am doing the same thing over and over again, and I'm never going to be able to do anything else because I don't know how. Like, I don't know how this works. I just know if I roll this thing, I win. Just never trying anything new.
So if it would probably help if we just, on the document that we're working on, the Google Sheet, we can put... Why is this one being funky? Let's put with your current project. Like, it looks like some of you have the DC listed for that project. We should also put what your needed successes should be for that project. And Olta, for you specifically, I think I got to give you credit. Part of the reason you're not remembering is because I don't think we really fully established it. Because if memory serves, the last time we talked about what do you want to do with animal handling, we weren't quite sure yet. So we just said, okay, start working on it. And as you get a better idea, then we can kind of finalize that. So do you have a better idea, or are we still kind of in that gray area?
Definitely the gray area.
Okay. Yeah. So the number of skill points you'll need is kind of dependent upon what, like, the difficulty level is that you're going for.
I do know I was trying to come up with, I was basing it off of American Sign Language, hand gestures or motions that the little dragon would understand for training measures.
Okay.
That was the last thing I remember talking to you about, but I don't think we confirmed or talked about anything beyond that.
Right, yeah. We ended up there, and essentially the follow-up question is, like, are we going for... Clearly you're going for some sort of, like, command, or series of commands, right? Are we talking, like, pet following instructions, or are we talking, like, teach him to help with fights, or something in between?
I would probably start with just commands first.
Okay.
Just
standard
so that
sit, roll over, stay sort of thing?
If I can get a dragon to roll over, abso-fucking-lutely. But I was thinking more like stay, hide, like stay in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like, okay. I don't, things like that.
Okay. So we'll say for that, let's go to a checkpoint of 30 for 3 basic, that kind of level training commands.
Okay, so that's 30 successes.
Before 10 failures.
Before 10 failures. Okay. And skill points for how many skill points do I get a success?
You get 1 for every attempt, and then 1 additional for every success, and 1 more if you hit a natural 20 on the attempt.
Okay.
So you get up to 5 for this remaining travel time.
Check. I'll get it. Right now I'm standing at 32 skill points, 3 successes, and 4 failures. Or should that be backwards?
I thought you had way more successes than that. We went with an average from what everybody had last time. I think you might have started at 0, and that's 3 and 4 in addition to what we should have started from. Let's call it 15 and 6.
15 skill points, 6 successes.
15 successes, 6 failures, and you have your 30-something skill points.
It's fixed now.
Awesome. Okay.
I think instead of continuing the project or like doing more skill points and stuff after the failure, I think Aster is going to actually spend some time being frustrated about it. Like, she's just going to kind of see that's not working, just kind of step back and probably meditate or something, just to think about what's ahead, think about the memory that she just relived in her dream, and yeah, just meditate.
Okay. Did we say that Olta's in the same cart as you? Oh, we said it doesn't
I don't
really matter.
know.
Okay. So I'm going to say that anybody, if you want to do anything about it or not, I don't want to lead with this necessarily, but would you be trying to like hide your frustration, or would it be pretty obvious?
Yeah, she would probably try her best, but like with a +1 charisma, I don't know how well that would go.
Okay. So I'd say then that generally speaking, you guys would notice that Aster is, so, you know, at one point working on this item that she's trying to craft, and like a piece of it sort of, and she gets really frustrated about it and decides to start secluding a little bit. You say meditating, it'd probably be easy to see that this is sort of like going to a husa space. You notice that. Do you want to do anything with it, or are we kind of moving on?
Olta would definitely say something if she's in the same cart. So, I mean, she would just want, I mean, she wouldn't push Aster, but would definitely notice the frustration and probably saddle up a little bit closer to her in the cart. And, hey, friend, getting a little mad.
Hey,
Doing okay? No?
I mean, just a little. This whole enchantment thing is just really new, and not really good at it yet. So it's just best to take a break.
Well, you're always welcome to help me if you want, and I'll kind of like point to my shoulder where there is a tiny dragon, probably chewing on one of my number of things that I have. Probably not listening very well. You're definitely welcome to help with this at any point.
Yeah, by all means. I saw you were using hand motions earlier. I don't know if you noticed me communicating in Druidic to Rydoth over at Baldur's Gate, but it's kind of similar, actually. It's you need more general hand gestures that, I don't know, might actually kind of work on animal kind of things. Dragons are a little different, but, you know, it might work.
I would love that, because I am not good at this. And she'll kind of like try to like get him to fly again, doing that whole like holding him by the little claws in between her and just kind of like, you know, just trying to like, you know what I mean? Like trying to get him to do something. It's definitely probably not working, because the numbers reflect it. Definitely. So, yeah. Okay. I mean, I would love to learn a little bit if you're willing to teach me. And I mean, I don't want to frustrate you more, but maybe that would help take your mind off things.
Sure. Willing to give it a shot.
Yeah. So if I could get advantage on those rolls there, GM. No, I'm just kidding.
So, no. Here's what I'm gonna do though. Similar to DM's inspiration, and especially because animal handling is something that Aster would be decent with, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and remove one of your failures, Olta.
Hey, All right.
I got a +8. I would say I'm pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So, as we're having that conversation, Olta would attempt to see if there was anything she could do to also help Aster with her tasks, but knowing that it's probably way out of her scope and out of her realm, would not want to do anything that could possibly harm Aster's tasks.
What is your modifier for Arcana?
No.
No. That's the modifier.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so with that being the case then, so Aster's +8, there's like a significant amount of expertise, quote unquote, involved with that. In your case, not so much, but you're trying to help. So let's have you roll 1d20, and if you hit the 12 or better, we'll also remove one of Hex. We'll actually, since it reset, we'll add a success to that project. Here we go. So, Aster, if you decide to pick that project back up at any point, we'll mark one more success in there.
Sounds good.
But since this conversation is sort of happening at the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
I
you
kind
take...
of...
Go ahead, sorry.
Can I kind of like wander in from the other side of the one big cart we share together, and and just being the nosy little brother that I am for everyone, be like, I like working with other people too, so maybe I can come like hang out and we can like work next to each other, but not together because that'd be like obtrusive or something, but like next to each other, and sometimes like I know like listening to music helps people work, so like I'll give you some mojo, and then I'll give her inspiration on the next time she tries to do it.
Okay, cool.
Seymour at least likes the music.
And Olta, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do recall at least last time that when you were working on that, you were trying to keep it under sort of lock and key, especially from Azbara and Jamna. Is that still the case, or are you more open about it?
Yeah, no, I'm still not super open to them seeing the little guy.
Okay.
And I also am still not, like, when it's not my turn to drive, I'm still kind of hanging out in the back away from everybody. Since I'm still kind of identifiable somehow outside of the rest of everybody, even though they're just as identifiable as I am, I'm definitely just trying to make sure that there's like a bit of space so that if people see me, that's one thing, and they can keep on with the task at hand,
Okay.
etc.
Okay, so we'll say that those two, like, you're trying to keep it under wraps enough that they don't really see it. They're both kind of secluded and quiet in their own rights anyway. So that would be something you guys also notice. I don't know if you wanted to do anything about it, but you're free to have your sort of in and out interactions, and they really are not going to butt in on any of it. You would, Aster, your passive perception is like stupid high, right?
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, 23.
20-something? 23. Okay, yeah. At various points along the journey, you would notice that, for one, Jamna is just like bored out of her mind. She's kind of just like sitting in the cart, flipping her knives around, rolling her head like, are we there yet kind of thing. But doesn't really speak much, if at all. And then Azbara, you would notice at various points is writing in several different books along the way. But also just like generally does not, aside from the time that you guys were attacked, he doesn't really get involved with any conversation or address any of you directly.
Well, if he seems busy, I'm just gonna, let him do what he's gonna do.
Okay. Anything else with projects, arts and crafts? All right. So you guys had a list of things that you wanted to do, including but not limited to a list of things that you wanted to talk about with other cultists once you actually catch up to them. So we'll say at this point we're at like the first evening or an evening. Well, I should ask you guys that. Do you want to do that on the first evening that you're setting up camp and you're like directly next to another group, or do you want to go a couple days in before approaching anybody?
I'm fine with any, unless anybody has any particular reason why we would wait. I think the more time we have to come up with a game plan before getting into Waterdeep might be good, but...
Yeah. Like, Aster will probably not be heading up the talking, so I'm just gonna go with whatever.
Okay.
I'm not really the best at thinking, so if you guys want to do that, and then I'll talk.
At least he's honest about it, right?
I'm super good at talking. Super good.
I mean, Olta's not good at it, but she'll do it.
Let's see.
Oh, right. I'm good at talking to people.
You know what? This would actually be a decent point for us to take a quick break. And you kind of gather your thoughts and game plan a little bit. Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Perfect.
Whee!
Okay, we back.
Oh.
I even said we're going.
He even said,
we can't do those. Okay, we don't.
Have I thrown it off by not being covert?
I don't know. I don't think it matters.
Whee!
All right. So we're at the first evening of about 5. I'm gonna stop saying about. The first evening of definitely 5 before arriving to Waterdeep, and we're at a point that you now have the available opportunity that was requested for interacting with people in the other carts, or at least some other carts. So there's a group of about 10 in total across the 3 carts that you're now sort of setting up camp at least next to. And you would notice that they're kind of leaving you to your own devices. They're not really paying much attention to it at first. What do you want to do?
Eliseo, since you're great at talking to people, would you like to talk to them first? Or do you want me to talk to them first? I don't know if I should do it, but I will. I'm saying this as Olta with a lot of question marks at the ends of her sentences.
What were our goals? Like, were we trying to just learn where exactly they're going? Like, I'll talk. I just want to have purpose.
So
I think it was
message that Corndog pinned. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Corndog.
Oh, I pinned a message? You should read that.
This is the exact reason that you pinned a message. So, like, Air 5 through the internet because it happened exactly as you predicted.
Why are these big heaps of treasure not being stopped from shuffling around these cities? Does the Dragon Cult have an inn within Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate that we are unaware of that is keeping them safe from bandits or from the consequences of what happened in Greenest? People know that this group is killing people for sport and taking their valuables, burning down whole villages in their wake, but nothing is happening? Those are
a lot of questions.
I
just verbatim read that. That's all I got.
I think the most important thing is that you know, go with the flow, do what it seems natural. Like, you gotta speak casually so that, like, they, like, think you're, like, one of their bros, you're a friend, you know? And, like, if the questions come up, they come up.
Right.
Definitely maybe not be bros.
Yeah.
But, like, I like
no
the sentiment. The sentiment
bro.
is on point. Yes, the sentiment is there. But maybe.
Well, they need to think we're bros.
So just, I guess, we mosey on up next to them as they're making a campfire for the night, and we'll be like,
Dude, can I sleep next to you, bro?
no.
Maybe not that.
I was going to maybe bring an offering of food to kind of be like, hey, share your campfire, we'll share our food. That makes them like us a little better. That way we can start talking about like, oh, trail rations. Oh, this is rough. Hey, where are we heading? Stuff like that. You know.
I just
Are
had
you
a better
raising
idea.
your hand to talk right now?
Yeah, I am. So campfire song. I know a great one.
And that's gonna get us information. How?
I can do a real enthralling performance.
Oh, yep, you could, and
Sure, you should.
that sounds great. Let's
You
go. Bring whatever fantasy bag of popcorn is
Wait,
on
actually,
over.
let me double check that. I actually can. I've read a lot of Bart subclasses today. I wasn't sure if I actually could do that real quick.
For real. Okay, so you and me broing it up over there.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I don't know that we actually have good food for trail rations, but hey, variety is probably better, so we can go share what we have.
Yeah, we've been mostly hand waving the whole hunting, gathering, water gathering thing, and just saying that you achieve it every day.
For sure.
So if there's like anything specific that you guys want to try to look for or do
S'mores
at any
materials?
point, yeah, that would have had to be like something you get in the city, or learn how to make yourselves. You know?
How to make chocolate in the wild.
Yeah.
I was gonna be,
I
was
don't
gonna
have
be more
those kinds of
concerned about how to make
spells.
marshmallows in the wild. I feel like making chocolate, you just get the right beans. I don't know how to spin sugar. Anyways, so I don't know, just like regular trail rations is good, and then we'll just kind of casually stroll on up to them.
At the campfire.
Anybody else want to come, or is it just me and Icarus? Okay.
I will
I
add to the
couldn't
mix.
find my unmute, so
Go ahead.
Juno will definitely accompany you. Sort of like, I think that this has the potential to go terribly. And then just like continue on getting ready.
With that, I feel like
just-
Aster, like, I don't think Aster would, like, go up and directly, like, be within, like, the conversational range, but, like, would just be in eyesight just to see if, like, I don't know, people start shooting crossbow bolts or something.
Yes, I do want backup on this.
Just in
That would-
case. Like,
I've got sending and fast friends, so I'll go with them and help in what ways I can.
Okay. You would notice a few things as you're starting to like approach these folks. Again, you're in pretty close proximity, not like on top of each other, but you know, like a campsite, a couple dozen feet at most. You know, in between the area that you guys started setting up and the area that they've set up, with carts just kind of pulled off to the side of the road. So all of you would be able to easily notice that Jamna is staying in one of the carts, but like in plain sight. So like sitting in the what would be the passenger seat, feet kicked up, and just like watching you all, doing her iconic, just like flipping the knife nonchalantly. But she's definitely looking at you guys, paying attention. Azbara is secluded in the back of one of the carts still. The last that any of you would have seen upon leaving is that he's still kind of in his books, sometimes just writing, sometimes just reading, and again hasn't really said anything or addressed anybody to this point beyond like grabbing a piece of food or a little bit of food. Aster, I do have to give you a little bit with your crazy passive perception. It was 23, right?
Yeah.
And the next highest among you is like what, 18?
For now.
You get that observant feat, bruh.
Yeah.
Have an
It's
11,
coming.
yeah?
It's coming. Just give me 2 more levels.
So 18 is the next highest,
Yeah.
and that's Juno. Everybody else is lower than that.
Sorry, mine's
Yeah.
mine's 17 only
17.
right now.
11, y'all. How are you this good at things?
Mine's 15.
High wisdom and observant feat. I'm telling you, man.
Oh,
My
wisdom.
elven eyes.
Wisdom is my dump stat. That's why.
Intelligence is mine.
Mine's strength.
Okay, so Aster, you would notice on your way. Did you say you were going with? Sorry, that's probably kind of an unfair question, but
Wait, what?
were you going with them, or were you staying back in the car?
I was like just trying to be within visual range. Like I didn't want to be in like conversational, like be in the same like conversational circle.
Okay.
Because like I don't know, didn't really want to talk to anybody.
Would you say you're kind of in a similar boat to Jamna, like in the front of a
I
cart
would say
and
so.
can see them?
Just to watch, just in case, like again, like if people start shooting crossbow bolts or something, I want to know. You know?
Okay.
I also want you to know if people start shooting crossbow bolts.
Yeah. So it's. Let me reconfirm to make sure I have it straight. Eliseo, Olta, the other four of you. Oh no, Olta's staying back. So it's Eliseo, Juno, and Icarus.
The Vayarans.
Yeah. Okay. Olta, you're staying back.
Olta
as well?
was trying to avoid going because she doesn't want people to recognize her. But if nobody else was gonna go, she would go.
Okay. Okay. So, Aster, Olta, with you staying back, are you doing the within eye shot, observable sort of thing, front of the cart, or are you?
Yeah, I'll
hanging
hang
back?
out with Jamna.
Okay. Okay. So Aster, even staying at the cart, you would notice that at least the one closest to you from the next group has a different marking on the back of it than yours does. Than yours do. It's also a slightly different marking from all the rest of the carts that you had seen leaving Baldur's Gate. So all the carts that you had seen leaving Baldur's Gate had the same, like a single scratch mark in the exact same place on all the carts that left in your group. This cart in front of you has a like 2 scratch marking, but in the exact same place. Olta, at one point, Jamna would actually turn to you and say, "You see that?" And like while she's flipping her knife and like taking a bite of her food, she'll point directly at the back of the cart in front of you.
Yeah. Mhm. Do you know what it is?
See the one we have?
Hmm.
Treasure.
Does that mean like double? What?
Valuables. Treasure. That one I haven't seen yet. I think I'm gonna go check it out.
What if it's got the babies?
Do you want me to go with you?
I ain't stopping
be
you,
your
but
lookout?
we're better alone.
Okay, cool. How about I just be your lookout? Cause I have a thing. Hang on. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Just kidding, I don't have this thing. I thought I had a thing. I don't have a thing. I can shout to you. That's mostly what I can do.
Okay, so you're kind of keeping lookout for her for the purpose of
Just to make sure she gets out alive. I don't want her to like get attacked, but I also would like to be able to notify her if anybody is coming towards her.
Okay, fair enough.
You know
Aster,
what?
you are
do
able
it.
to hear this entire exchange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear. Okay. Yeah, I'll just like kind of like mosey on like behind our cart or something, or like somewhere that like I don't know, no one like the other camp or any of the other camps can see, and just wild shaped into some type of bug, so I can just like crawl into the cart.
You can do
The other
that?
cart. Can I not? Like I can wild shape into
Wait.
anything that's like below a certain CR.
I
If
thought
it's
it was
considered a
only
beast.
beasts.
Are
I don't
they
think
not
bugs count as
considered beasts?
beasts.
Bugs are beasts.
I don't think they are. It's like
Have
a
you
weird
encountered a
technicality.
cicada? Those are
Yeah, I
obviously
think it
beasts.
has to be a beast, but I mean, to be
like
fair,
it's not much of an issue.
worms are
I can just be,
disgusting.
I can just be like a mouse or something. It doesn't matter that. Well, I can turn into a spider, like a giant spider. So can I not just be like a regular spider?
That's fair. Spiders
Okay, this
I
is-
think that would be more polymorph than it would be.
Right. Okay,
Wild
so I'm
shape,
all
right?
for rule of cool, and I want this to work, but
Yeah.
this would be significant enough that it could be like game breaking, especially later
okay.
on with stuff. So let's check. Let's do our due diligence here and check.
I thought
Wild
Break
shape.
the
was-
game.
I thought
Break
these
the
was just
game.
the category of like this is normal occurring creatures that you would find in the environment and not like
No, it's like a.
monstrosities and things like
It's
that.
it's like
Bugs really
per
don't
the
count as
monster
beasts.
manual categorization beast. And there are some small ones. So
What do bugs count as in the monster manual then?
a beast that you've seen before. Okay. That we can hand wave at least some, because if like a mouse is a beast, it's reasonable to say that you've seen a mouse before.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if a spider's a beast, a bug would be a beast.
Okay, if I
Yeah.
can't, okay, if I can't be a bug, well, spiders are actually in here. I'm tiny, but if I can't do that, I could just be a lizard or something instead. Hold on, let me look up wild shape too. I don't know if there's, I don't know if there's a, like, how small you can be thing. I know there's a, like,
It
how
just has to be
large
a-
you can be.
Yeah, it just has to be a beast that's CR 1/4 or lower. I don't think it said anything about size.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could
I
you
just
could be like a
can't have
badger or a
flying
cat.
speed.
You could be a snake.
Yes, be a badger.
Or a rat. So you could be a rat. That's
Okay.
probably the smallest one I'm seeing so far. It said non-flying, right? So
Yeah, I
ravens
just
and
can't have a fly speed.
bats. Okay. You could be a giant centipede. Probably not as covert as
Maybe
you want it to be.
We would have a very different problem on our hands with that.
Or yeah, giant badger. You could be a crab.
I was looking at that too. I'm just on a donjon right now.
So are you specifically looking for like being as small as possible?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I think a rat would probably be
Yeah, they're tiny.
yeah, probably be your best bet, and you
Alright.
know, not unreasonable to see around these parts. So like if somebody saw you, it's not like you're made, you know.
Mhm. Okay, I'll be a rat.
Nice.
Become rat.
All right, so we're theater of the
Follow
minding this
Jim.
pretty hardcore. Let's say that the carts, if we were looking at a map, the carts are on the west side of your bird's eye view, your left, and then the road is going north south, and you are off to the right side of the road with 2 campfires, or at least one that's going. I don't know if you guys like fully made yours before you went over. I don't think it really matters. There's enough light from the one that even when the sun finishes setting, you'll be able to see everybody from the other group. So where are you going, Heck?
I'm just following Jamna. Like whatever she's doing, I'm just.
Okay, and you did
Yeah,
this after
scurry.
she started going, so she would not know that you did this? Or did you tell her that you were doing this?
Ooh.
Sorry, another like possibly leading
Yeah,
question,
no,
but
that's actually
it matters.
that's actually a really good point though. I mean, if possible, like, yeah, she'd whisper, it's like, I'll come with, just in case. Don't become rat, like, I'm small.
Okay. She's seen you wild shape before, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't exactly be too much of a surprise, but you shaped into an ape last time. So she would see you do this and then be like, holy shit, that's really cool. And then she goes sneaky sneak mode, and we'll get back to the group in a second that is approaching the cultists. Sorry, the small version of splitting the party. And she's going to give another look over to make sure, like, at some point everybody's looking away. And just after the group that approaches them starts to talk, they're obviously all their gazes go to look at them, and then they shift toward, like, general conversation amongst themselves. You can tell they're not really paying attention beyond that point, and Jamna slips into the covering of the back of this wagon in front of you. They are all covered. So where do you go?
If there's any way that little me can climb up into this, like, I don't know if I have to get, like, on the spokes or something first, like,
Yeah, narrate it.
a little rat
I'm not gonna make you roll for it,
climb
just
up
narrate
into
it.
the cart. Yeah, no, like, oh my god, see, now all I'm imagining is just, like, various scenes from, back in, Rescuers, you know, just Rescuers.
Yeah.
My head went to Ratatouille.
Yeah, or
That
I'm
works
just
too.
climbing up. Yeah, I start on the spokes of the wheel and then just kind of climb up into the back, with her little rat tail, like, just kind of disappearing into the covered wagon.
All right. So we'll pause there before revealing what you see, and what you see Jamna doing. We'll go to the other group. Eliseo, Icarus, and Juno. Olta, you're able to see and hear this conversation. Where are you positioning yourself while, like, trying to cover Jamna?
You would have put herself wherever Jamna was, like, sitting. Like,
Okay, so you just, like,
prior to
scooted
going.
over a seat, basically?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say your attention is somewhat split, you know, if it comes down to anything that you need to or happen to observe. But you are able to hear the entire conversation that happens with the other group, save for any whispers. So, group of 3. You're approaching the group of people from the other wagons, carts. What's going on?
I'm gonna, like, kind of make a big show of coming over and, like, give, like, the huge, like, neighbor wave. Just like, hey, it's about time we see some non-familial faces here, man. You've been keeping a good pace. We had a hard time keeping up with you. How's it going?
Yeah, these horses have been at it for a while. They treat me good, and we get there fast every time. So there's
Oh,
one
that's great.
particular person
Yeah.
that has, like, zero hesitation with greeting you, receiving you,
Perfect.
Responding. All 3 of you would notice that this man and 2 others are pretty, like, present and forthcoming, not really shy. I wouldn't say that the rest are shy, though, so this is not, like, an exact opposite thing. The rest of the group is pretty quiet. Again, not in a shy sort of way, but just, like, not responding much. They like, look up to, you know, okay, there's people here, and then they kind of keep tending
Keeping to themselves.
Yeah, their fire and the food and, like, organizing some stuff, but they don't really say much, at least right away.
How many are in the rest of the group?
So it's 10 total. So the group of people who are basically not responding or not responding much is 7.
Okay.
You'd also notice that the attire of the 3 responding to you is different. Not, like, crazy different, but different from the 7. The 7, 100% cultists by attire alone. The 3, hard to tell. They're wearing different clothing.
Nice campfire step, bro. Can I interest you in a campfire song? I've got a good old one I've been saving for a nice night like tonight.
As long as you can sing better than that bore in the last city we got to. This is the first
I
time
can
one
promise
of the
you that.
7 speaks up.
And I will target. I'd say the 3 friendly ones
Yeah.
because we don't know if they're sketchy or not. And then I'll choose one from the non-communicative group because I can only target 4 at the moment for my enthralling performance. And I will pull out my lyre and I will sing C-A-M-P-F-I-R-E-S-O-N-G song. And I will just keep going. And they need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god.
Hey, here's the thing. Eliseo was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he's great. Like he's not good at many things, but singing's what he's great at." But now I'm gonna
No,
recant
I
that.
mean, I'm sure it's a little bit more musical than that, but like that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Like a nice,
This was
full
an
nice
enthralling
camp
what?
ballad. Wisdom saving throw against my DC 15.
Right, but what was the ability called?
Enthralling performance.
Okay.
Will this be
I can-
bad if they succeed?
No, they won't know if they succeed.
Oh, okay.
That's why I did it. Because they don't know either way. It's just a good song.
Is it? Wait, do we have to make this?
No, I can only choose
Okay.
4 people.
So yeah, you specifically target people within an area, but not the entire area.
As long as they're listening to my music for a minute, and they're charmed for an hour if they fail.
I will be charmed by you. Okay.
And then if they're charmed by me, they idolize me and will treat me as a friend and tell me anything they want me to.
Yeah, and this is markedly
that.
not casting a spell, so there are certain elements of it that are
It's just a good
different.
song,
Okay.
bro.
Cool. Campfire song. A+, I approve. Okay, so
I'm just
you
gonna draw a
said
circle right
wisdom
here real quick
saves?
for safety, in the sand, and then yeah.
Five, 19, 6, 5.
The 19 saves, the other 3 do not.
Okay,
Hooray.
And that was in order. It would have been the 3 who have been, engaging in conversation back with you, and then the 1. As a cultist, I don't need to be facetious about it. The 1 for sure cultist. So one of the 3 other people succeeded, and the other failed. The other 2 failed.
Okay, so
And so those people will respond with like, "Oh wow, he's pretty good. Oh, that's great. Wow, do you do that to make money? Do you do that for a living?"
sometimes the lyrics are a little bare bone, but the instrumental part is very soothing, right? Very smooth,
Yeah, all this time on the road, he hasn't been working on it that much, but I bet he could.
Wow, that's great. So the lines actually are going to get a little blurred, Icarus, between who responds with like that level of enthrallment, but the rest are still like, oh, that's actually pretty good, and sort of soften up a little.
So now, table talk now is when we start asking questions because they idolize me for an hour. Yep.
Yep.
So like, how
Yeah.
long you guys been working for these folk? I just picked it up like the other day.
Okay.
The other
We've
month.
been on the road for
God, time
weeks.
passes so quick.
Yeah.
Working for we're not really working for anybody in particular. We just we do the traveling merchant thing. We contract out in one city, go from point A to point B, make sure we get paid, move on to the next. It's honest work.
Yeah. Let me pull up my conversation notes here real quick.
Yep.
Because I don't want to screw up now that I'm
Now that you're
taking
in
this
it.
over.
While my brother and spouse are engaging in this conversation, Juno's eyes are gonna flit around and look for Sabaro, see where he is. Azbara Jos. Azbara Jos. Sabaro. Wearing scary looking red robes. Do not trust. I'm looking for him.
So you would have noticed that when you came over here, he stayed back in the back of one of the carts, and from what you can see, he's probably still there. You have like
Excellent.
crazy dark vision, right?
Yeah, I'm watching him.
Yeah. So you don't see him.
Okay.
You can see.
I'm watching the cart for him, and
You do see
if he
Olta,
moves, okay.
but only Olta.
Okay, I think you guys have got this, and then Juno will just shift back into the darkness.
Yeah.
And,
You know, we'll catch up. These guys are really fun conversation. I'll see you back at our
can you make
campsite.
me soup? Thanks,
Yeah.
bye.
Totally.
And Juno's, yeah, she's just gonna shift out of frame and try to get into a frame that our red-robed friend is in. Just try to find him.
Bit of bad meat for lunch. Where you going?
Yep.
She's not big on people. I mean, me and the brother here, we are more sociable.
Well, I didn't think we smelled that bad, but okay.
It's not you, it's me.
She doesn't like it when I sing for groups of people. It's because she wrote the song.
Yeah,
It embarrasses her.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Make a deception check.
Hey, 3 of them will believe anything I say.
It's true.
Oh,
That's
that's
a
true.
15
That's true.
plus.
So one deception check for the.
15 plus 10, 25.
Okay. Well, I find that hard to believe, but I guess I've seen weirder. What's with the?
I've got the cords, she's got the brains.
What's with her eyes? What's that all about? It's kind of creepy.
I mean,
She's
Are you-
pretty doped up. She's pretty doped
Out-
up right now.
out of character, is that talking about how she just has solid black eyes?
Yes.
Because I have solid white eyes.
Oh, you do too?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, so
Yeah.
they would straight up like, yeah, both of you like.
Yeah, we
okay?
we got into an we got no it happened when we were younger. It kind of is matching pair thing. It's cool.
She's
Sort
like
of.
some sort of elf, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
With the, but you're like different too. I can't. You're kind of human-ish, and I've been around, man. Like I've seen some various different kinds of people, but like, not to be too disrespectful, but like, what are you?
Human-ish is probably the nicest compliment a stranger has ever paid me. So thanks for that. And I like pat him on the shoulder and like try and make it a joke. And stuff.
he'll kind of like be confused for a moment, visibly, and then like, well, all right.
Yeah. We yeah, no, she's great. She's quiet. She doesn't like people as much, but me and Buddy here, we haven't introduced ourselves, by the way. I'm Soul, and this is I like motion for you to introduce yourself.
Nicholas.
Yep. And you guys are give me NPC names on the spot.
Wow. No roll necessary. Bravo. Jeez. Hang on, I gotta look this up.
Every time I just make up a new name for myself on the spot, and I'm never prepared for what it's gonna be.
just rearranging the letters in my own name, but, you know, good for you. Also, I'm definitely just using a character from last night, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, you are.
I was like,
I'm gonna
this would
tell
be great.
robotic on you.
I was like, yep, I'll just rearrange the letters in my name. This is great. That's already a name here.
Okay, the one who's been engaging with you the most will say, well, I'm Rosdom, and then, like, directly after each other, the next one will say Aran, and then Sivan.
Not
right,
to move
Ross,
from one.
None of the other guys say anything.
Not to move from one uncomfortable conversation to the next, but I have a question that's kind of weird, but like we kind of just didn't get much of the details for this job, and I just really don't want to mess it up. There was a decent enough payout, you know. Did they tell you like why we're just being let in? Like that feels so weird, and I don't want to get like stopped without knowing what we are supposed to tell people at the gates, you know, between cities.
What do you mean stopped at the gate? We're going around.
Oh wow, well,
Waterdeep, you mean, yeah?
Yeah. They didn't even tell me that. I just know I'm supposed to follow, so I was like confused.
Well, you must not be the one heading your group then, huh?
Oh shit! Am I
Somebody's
not the
gotta
one
know.
heading? I thought I was in charge.
No, you're not. She's the one with all the details. She's the quiet one, but she knows what she's doing. He's the anxious one, but he's, you know, sociable and stuff. And I mostly just know directions. That way's north. That's what I got for the team.
Yeah,
You know.
we're just heading out to a roadhouse up, you know, where it's being rebuilt up toward Neverwinter.
Right.
But somebody in your group knew that, yeah?
Yeah, she's got all the knowledge and the itinerary stuff. We're not really, you know, to be trusted with plans sometimes, right? You know, we're kind of the.
Well, it's you know, it's part of the life. We don't ask too many questions and don't really care much about it anyway. Like I said,
Yeah.
point A, point B, collect the pay. The more you know, the more trouble you risk getting into, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, yeah, but sometimes you do kind of just gotta wonder, especially like spending all this time on the road. Like, we're carrying tons of stuff, right? Like, is nobody really noticing? Like, this is a huge caravan that we're in, right? You know, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I've seen it before, especially in, like, you know, taking supplies to, you know, a new building project. You know, maybe a new city's getting laid out somewhere, or somebody's
Gotta be one cool
working on a
city.
big supply ship out to, you know, across the sea here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I probably wouldn't have thought of that. Making a new city, man, that must be pretty cool. I said, help me out here.
Yeah. My first question failed. I've kind of given up.
Oh, you give up after one. This is great.
You're the
Okay, we
bard.
can
What are you
pause.
Yeah.
doing? Giving up?
Why is the wizard the one that's trying to talk?
My bad.
Let's
You
pause.
come
I
here
want to give
often?
you guys honest opportunity to think of
Okay,
some more
thank you.
stuff if you want. We'll flip back to Aster and Jamna. Well, actually, Olta
All right,
first.
I got another
you
question.
See
We're
Juno
good.
come
Yeah.
back to you. Juno, what's going on?
I'm just gonna skirt around our carts and just give Olta one of these. Just like, I'm back, and I'm just gonna kind of keep moving around like a squid and just try to find Azbara. There we go. Got it. Whew. Did it.
Okay, so checking in the carts, you do find him. Again, still just kind of like facing backward, what would be backward, in the very back of one of the carts, kind of like nestled in between. He's kind of made like an area. He's shifted some of the crates around so that he can like lay down with his feet out instead of having to be in a fetal position sort of thing. And he's kind of made this like little area. He's got like a single candle going, and 4 or 5 books piled up next to him, and then his pack, and that's it. And as you like pull a curtain, you sort of see him there. He's writing in a book, and looks up at you.
Are you hungry?
Well, this one has already had tonight's fill.
Okay. What are you writing?
Are you uncomfortable, Juno?
Yes. Yes.
Recounting this one's days in the caravan. Memories are pleasant.
Have you written about us?
Why, of course.
Okay. She just shuts the curtain and stares at Olta.
Listen, Alta's watching everything implode around her and is in panic mode. She's just like sitting there, just like watching all of this happen, like hearing all of these uncomfortable conversations, and she's just squirming because she like doesn't want to engage because she does not want to get recognized by people. So she's just cringing through all of this. Like,
Okay.
if you've ever sat in a karaoke bar and watched somebody very poorly sing karaoke, and you've had that feeling of like, oh my god, I wish I could stop
Secondhand
this.
embarrassment,
Exactly,
like
it's
that
like
residual
embarrassment.
cringe.
It's like
Yeah,
you're watching
so-
The Office. Like,
Yeah, rewatching The Office now, and you're like, oh god. Ooh.
yeah.
Yes, so that's Ulta currently watching all
Awesome.
of this happen. Just giant-eyed, probably doing one of these, like, just not understanding.
Awesome. Are you doing anything about it, or are you just like super cringe mode, squirming in your seat?
Oh, you can see her visibly uncomfortable, like probably just like, you know,
So,
doing one of
Juno,
those,
you
but
can
she's
see
not.
that.
Yeah, she's not saying anything.
Okay. So Juno, you can see that. We can give another minute or two to what Juno's doing then.
Yeah, Juno just kind of cringes at Ulta, like,
This is so
and then
great.
she opens the curtain back up and just climbs in and just sits in the cart next to Azbara and just sits there.
Oh no, it got worse.
It got worse.
She
Oh
didn't
my
want
God.
Ulta looking at her. She was embarrassed. So she's like, I can't handle Ulta being embarrassed of me, so I'm just going to crawl in and, like, sit in my penance.
Did you forget that
Oh,
there are
no.
other carts, or are you like specifically trying to sit next to Azbara?
I'm sitting next to him to eventually figure out what I want to say to him, but right now, Juno is just like, in her brain, okay, so in her brain, she is like, this guy is taking notes about all of us and everything we do. I'm gonna fuck him up, is like what's going on in her brain, because she doesn't want these books to get out. Because if this guy is a cultist, she sees like him writing down these notes and stuff like that. And she's just like, I don't need anyone to know like further details about us, because that means he has like detailed accounts of like watching us fight the Ettercaps and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
you know, is like, someone's gotta like watch this old man. And I
Okay.
guess it's me. And so she's just like uncomfortably in the cart with him. And then after like a moment passes, she's just gonna be like, can you read me one of your entries? I just want to see the world through your eyes.
Ooh, deception check. Or persuasion, because it's not exactly a lie. So,
It's not a lie, but
either one of
Oh.
those two, whichever you'd prefer.
Can I stealth it instead? Just kidding.
My love, I am so in love with you in this instant.
I am gonna call upon the blessings of the Moon Weaver to guide myself in this conversation. Gonna be like, oh, why did I ever leave the Grove? Why did I ever stop being homeschooled? Okay. So plus a D4? Pointy. There we go. Clack. It's a 3, plus a 2, plus a 1. 6.
Okay.
Party face.
I love you.
This one was just writing about the Weaver of Songs and his beautiful voice.
Yeah. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. You got all the notes of the campfire song. Okay. I'm really tired. If you want to read to me, that would be cool. Otherwise, I'm just gonna lay down. And she's just gonna lay there in the back of the cart and just close her eyes and listen to Sabaro do whatever he needs to do.
Okay. We'll pause there. This is my awkward moose. Awesome. Okay.
Campfire bros are ready.
Aster. we gotta go to Aster and
Okay,
Jamna
good.
first, and we'll circle back. This party is split 2 ways now. So Aster,
Yeah, more than that.
3 ways.
three.
4,
Right.
technically. Because
It's a
now
4-way party split.
Yeah, I
but
shut that curtain.
The people in the carts are like close enough that. Anywho, the Aster, you see a significant difference in at least the setup of the cargo in this cart. It is covered, but in larger stacks, and larger stacks is not a good word. What looks like fewer items, but like still stacked to the brim. So, but it's all covered with like sheets and like leather tarp-like material in its individual long stacks.
All right. First off, what do I smell with my little rat keen smell?
A combination of wood and dirt.
Okay. Just moving forward, I do have advantage on checks involving smell, if that becomes relevant.
So if you words, something like "what do I smell" is something I would equate to like what do you get from passive.
Okay.
Something like "do I smell this thing specifically" is more in like okay, do the check for that sort of thing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. What's Jamna doing?
You do see Jamna sort of quietly unraveling a piece of thin rope that's sort of holding a cover down to the cart itself, like the bed of the cart, and then like pull it open and peek in, and then like retie it. And then she goes to another one, and she is super quiet. Like you being in, you can actually see her. If you couldn't see her, like you would not be able to tell she's in here. She's not making a single sound. She's obviously extremely aware of what's immediately around her, and then like only touching certain things. And you'd notice that the only thing that she touches are like soft.
Cool. Are there any like little are there any like little like holes or like tears in like tarps or something that like I can fit through and see what's going on?
Absolutely.
Okay. Like to crawl on through and see what's going on.
So roll a d10, please.
Okay. 3.
Okay. So you crawl under / into one of the tarps, and you're able to see a stack of cleanly cut planks, essentially. Pretty thick, like 2 to 3 inches thick, and then like maybe 5 or 6 inches wide, and then they're super long. And in this particular covering, they actually cover from the front to the back of the available cart, like in three planks wide and going all the way to the top.
Do I know what kind of wood this is? Like, what it would be used for?
Until you would want to make a check to see anything more specific, it would be reasonable to assume that this is like building material.
Okay.
Like it's cut so cleanly and consistently across all of the pieces. Yeah, you could reasonably assume at first that it's building material.
Just like general like houses or like structures, or are we talking more like, I don't know, like catapults or something? I have no clue.
Make I think I'd have to say like a nature check.
Okay.
There's really not
Luckily,
anything for
with
like
wild
artisanship
shape,
of any kind.
yeah, luckily with wild shape I get to retain my mental stats. Well, let's see what's going on. 14.
Okay, so kind of hard to tell, but whatever it is probably pretty big. So like huts, small houses, probably not in the picture.
Okay. Interesting.
And actually, you've really only seen that kind of structure outside of like your home was like hanging abodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like piece together what's around you sort of thing. This is like measured, cut, and treated wood, which you've really only ever seen in the big cities that you've passed through.
And she thinks to herself, it smells funny. And yeah, I was just gonna just keep going in like different crates and stuff, seeing what she can see, I guess.
Okay. Jamna eventually ends up checking under every individual. There's about 6 individual stacks of something. So that's enough time for, if you wanted to see any others, I would say that you could see 2 more.
Yeah, sure, I'll go for it.
Okay,
Maybe
so
like ones that she hasn't been around, but yeah.
Okay, roll 2 more d10s, please.
All right. All right. Ooh, an 8 for the second one, and a 1 for the third.
Okay, so 1 is it's a stack of significantly large rocks, like the kind that would like out of game would be like decorative landscape sort of thing. On the large side, like some of them are almost as large as Jamna, being a gnome.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then the other is actually going to be, thin barrels of, it's essentially dirt, but it's not just like, you can tell from the smell, it's not necessarily just like dug it out of the ground and put it in a bucket sort of thing. It almost smells like ground down stone, like gravel-esque, but even thinner. It's somewhere in between like sand and gravel.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
At this point, you'll see Jamna leave and start heading back to or at least out the back of this cart.
Okay. That seems like a good cue for a little rat to leave too, because I don't think people want rats in their carts.
Okay, so we'll pause there and go back to Campfire Group, which is now LSAO and Icarus, just the two of you. Yeah.
Campfire Bros.
We've had a lot of time to plot.
Yes, we have.
Perfect.
So, yeah, okay. So like we're bringing stuff for like a new city and stuff. Don't you ever think like we could get hit on the road here? Like, I've been hearing more and more things about like people are, attacking villages and stuff. You don't ever think about like, oh no, what if little unsuspecting wagons here get hit by anybody?
Well, yeah, it happens here and there, but we've been assured that these guys can help prevent that from happening. That's kind of why they're here. So
These guys?
yeah, and he'll just nod over to the 7 surrounding the campfire.
All right.
I'm gonna, like, inside my head, give myself a pep talk. Like, remember what we talked about. Remember, everyone told you what you're supposed to ask about. You know what you need to ask about. Give myself inspiration for my next question.
Okay.
And then with all that build up, I'm gonna be thinking, and I'm gonna like try to word it very carefully. I'm just gonna be like, "Do you come here often?"
Dude, you're the bard.
And then you're just like, "Fuck." I'm just under his breath.
Well, we've passed this road many times. They go between Waterdeep and Sycumber, and sometimes as far as Baldur's Gate. Fairly often over my years.
Years? How long has this been going on? This is our first trip. So.
I've been in the merchant business for almost 30.
Huh.
And the other two will be like, yeah, started a year or two after him.
Doesn't get boring at all, because time on these roads for me, it's like, whew.
Well, of course it does. That's why we come up with our own games and campfire bullshitting stories.
All right, tell me one of these games.
Oh,
Coob.
Ooh.
I love Coob.
I do too. That's why I said it.
That's a good one.
Now it's canon in D&D world now. Coob. Has LSAO heard of Coob though? Let's roll for that.
Oh, okay. Niffer was just excited about Coob. LSAO doesn't have to have heard
Straight
of it.
D20. 11 and up is a yes. A 10 and under is no.
17.
Nice. Okay, so you've heard of Coob.
I love Coob. I guess that's in character.
It's so easy, man. It doesn't take up much space if we find sticks and logs we like, and if we can't, then we can always find them on the way.
Yeah. You got any around here right now? There's still probably enough light to play.
Absolutely. And
Nicholas, what do you think? We could take them, right? How's your hand-eye coordination?
Very proper, sir.
Sir? Gross. Anyways, let's play a little bit. I'm gonna try and get them to like play against us and see if we can like maybe put stakes on this game.
Oh, we're gambling now. Okay.
I don't gamble. You can. Well, you probably gamble.
No, like not like stakes of like gambling money, but like see if I can get them to tell me anything
let's get 'em drunk.
else. Okay. Either way, I just want to see if I can get them to give me more information, and if it
Okay,
can be
yeah.
like we win Coob, and therefore they tell us a bit more. Like,
Okay, so we got to role play that out a little bit, unless you're just saying that flat out.
no, I'm pitching this idea as Niffer to Ander, just
Yeah.
to be like,
Oh,
I think-
hey,
Definitely don't
could
be
we
like,
do that?
we'll play you for more information. But like, we can just play and chat up while we're playing. Yeah, good.
Sure.
Okay, so... Oh, wait, did you say that in character?
No,
or-
this is out of character. We're plotting.
Okay.
We have half a brain cell
Your
right
table
now.
We're
talk.
sibling
Okay.
communicating mentally.
Yeah.
We do it all the time, you know.
This kind of table talk I'll allow.
Yeah. I'm a verbal processor. Sometimes I just need to tell my plan to someone else and then be like, no, that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I'll see if they'll play a game of Coob with us. And
try and keep them talking about just the journeys that they've had of like, what's, tell me the weirdest story. Like, what's the weirdest trip that you've had? Like, have you transported anything in particular weird? Like, or what's the strangest, biggest monster you've seen, just to see if like they've seen the dragons coming, or like they're transporting certain materials, just trying to get them to like boast about what they've done to us newbies.
Okay. So they're all in on playing the game. They like 2 of them go into one of the carts to like get supplies.
Yeah.
Olta, you see 2 of these folks from the campfire. You've been able to hear the entire conversation. And 2 of them turn toward one of the carts in front of, like even farther in front of the one that is immediately in front of you that your companions are in. Any response to that?
That was 2 of the cultists that turned to look at the other, or 2 of the people that are playing the game?
2 of the people that are playing the game. And it's these 2 specifically are not among the 7 that you're like, these are cultists. But again, you're not really sure about these other 3.
Okay, so they just turned and looked at them, or are they turning to like call them over here?
No, they're like going into one of the carts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just keep an eye on them then.
Okay. So it only takes a few seconds for them to go into one of the carts. They grab out, a few chunks of wood and small logs and start setting up a couple lines of small logs next to each other, about 30 yards apart. And
nice wood, bro.
and then some thicker sticks, like small branch sort of sticks, the bones to start tossing. So we'll pause there and take another short break. And when we come back, we're going to go to... The rotation is at Juno now, yes? I think so. No? Nothing? Okay, then we'll go back to...
It'll be fine. I'll come up with something that I actually wanted to ask this man.
Okay, that's fair enough. So then we'll go back to Olta now with Jamna and Aster when we get back. BRB! We did it! Yay! Hey, we're back! Alright. We've got some according to Olta, cringe happening. We're a little uncomfortable, huh? Speaking of which, Olta, we're back to you, and now, well, Aster, you're still a rat for now. Jamna has come back. And she just kind of plops herself back into the seat next to you again. Although you had her original spot. So you basically, switch places. And just kind of pulls her knife out and starts, picking at one of her fingernails, and then flips it around a bit. Kind of back to her secluded routine.
So... Any chance you're gonna share what you saw in there? Do you need to maybe write it down so that people don't hear you, or?
Hang on a second. Oh. It was the AC. Sorry, it was the AC. It was louder than I thought it would be. Can't quite put my finger on it. It's not the, it's not like that. I bet that's what the mark is for.
Uh-huh. Still not understanding.
Wood planks and rocks.
Check, okay. wood, planks, and rocks, and ours is gold and gemstones and expensive things. Okay.
Are you less confused than I am?
Do you think maybe we need to go to some of the other ones?
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, maybe take Aster with you.
Where did she go?
The rat appears.
Whoop.
Just sitting on two hind legs, just like little front paws are up.
I seriously doubt I'll get used to that. Well, come on then. And she'll kind of like hop back off the cart and start sneaking toward the next one.
Yeah, sure. I'll just rescuers my way up into that one too.
Okay. Long story short, about the same. Large wooden planks, large stones, and like fine gravel. But that'll cover enough time that we'll then go to Juno. Do you have anything, or should we go back to campfire group and resume the normal rotation? Sorry, didn't realize you were eating.
It's me. I'm always eating. Yeah, after like a good little bit of them sitting there doing nothing, Juno's just gonna be like still eyes closed, not really focused on anything. Just, so why are you here?
It's your facial expression.
Like,
oh, this is so good, corn dog. Are you doing that in character?
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, she's laying down across the top of these boxes with her
Right.
head like pointed towards the ceiling.
I'm just enjoying imagining like the screen view of you just like
yeah.
facial expression emits struggle bus right now.
Yes.
I was too busy laughing. I forgot the question already.
It is. So why are you here?
This one seeks to have new life in Waterdeep after events in Thay.
She'll just roll over. It's probably hard to guess, but I don't get out much. I know I probably seem very well traveled. But no, what's Thay? What's it like there?
Oh, Thay is... This may sound ridiculous in other country, but Thay is land of magic. It is ruled by magic, even. Before the taking over, it was a beautiful place to live, and most people very nice. But the Red Wizards had bad plans for the rest of people.
Why didn't you stop them?
Does this one think that this one could do much against an entire faction?
I don't know. Maybe in like large numbers.
Perhaps.
We had people that tried to attack where I live, and some people did die. But it's okay overall still, because people fought back. They didn't let it stay there.
Well,
They didn't
yes,
let them stay there. And she's just like stuttering and being like, oh god.
This did happen, but perceived threats were quickly, extinguished.
So are you in hiding?
Yes.
Oh.
Although this one thinks that he is far enough away It is probably safe. He will not be seen. Any farther, and this one would be in the sea. You do know
That's
that you're
fair.
very close to the sea of
Oh yeah,
Souls.
she's just nodding, like thinking about the land and stuff, and like where they've been recently.
Yeah.
You'd be in water. Deep water.
Out of the
Okay,
chat.
how'd you get the opposite
Off
of
the Zoom call.
inspiration?
Kick him off the call. Restart the
I have to
game.
throw away one of my die.
Throw away your D20. You don't get to roll that anymore tonight. So Juno will attempt to start a conversation that just asks him about himself while also just giving little tidbits about herself, but not anything like of significant merit. Basically, she just wants to gain a friend.
Okay.
How did that lie feel coming out of your mouth?
I don't like lying. I'm bad at doing it as a person. I tend to get really
Yeah.
rashy. My hands are sweating profusely right now. Look at that glisten on the camera. I just
Okay.
don't
Juno.
like lying, but Juno is doing her best.
Make a... I'm going to let you choose between performance or persuasion check.
We're both garbage. Okay. Ah, so many snacks. Wow.
As we do.
Moonweaver, please help me. Oh, much better. 23.
Okay. So between that and other things, spoiler alert, passive traits, the more you talk with him, the more you realize he's like exuding this openness and trusting and trustworthiness, etc. However, at a point, you realize that he's been extremely vague.
Ah,
He's
vague
never
with vague.
really actually answered your questions.
Yeah.
Could I? He's kind of just getting enough to like technically check the box, and you're noticing it. Like he's never really being very specific about anything.
Okay. I've got a pretty dope insight, and I have advantage on anyone talking to me and their insight. On my insight rolls. So I could roll an insight check if you would like.
So I used your passive. If you're going to check anything, we would have to be specific about what you're trying to get insight about. Whether it's like a specific statement he's made or maybe even like a topic, but we would have to be more specific.
Nah, I'll just vibe with him and get weird vibes.
Okay.
We'll just hang out and just keep chatting, both being exceptionally vague, but him just reaffirming that I cannot trust him and must steal his journals at some point.
Oh.
I've got that on my list.
Okay. Back to Olta. You can hear that entire conversation. For the most part, it's like, are they actually saying anything? It all seems kind of like vague terminology, and Juno, you can tell Juno's like uncomfortable, but the whole conversation behind you is just like, what? The conversation in front of you turns to not everybody, at least the three folks that have been more open and clearly look different than the rest are like all in on a game with Icarus and Eliseo. And one of the clearly cultist guys is actually joining them. He's a little bit more reserved still, not too conversational, but he's like there, he's doing it. And the other six are kind of just around the campfire, mumbling amongst themselves, not really saying anything specific, but they're quiet enough that you wouldn't really be able to tell. Would you like to do anything, say anything, approach anybody? I don't want to completely skip over you.
Yeah, no, you can, for the most part, unless something major like pops off, she is just observing all of these ships sinking.
Okay.
Lovingly. Wishing that hoping that they turn themselves around in whatever way possible. But not saying anything, just squirming a lot.
Okay. Fair enough. Back to Eliseo and Icarus.
Okay, first things first. What am I rolling to be really good at Coob?
Dexterity.
On the other hand, Icarus is gonna play really dumb and really bad and try to get them to like help him play.
Oh
He's
my
gonna be like,
gosh.
"Oh, will you show me how to swing it?" And because there's trying to be smooth and there's trying to be like so bad that like they like want to help you, you know.
You're going complete helpless puppy, and I'm trying to genuinely impress.
I
you
will bat
people.
my eyelashes if I have to.
Reasonable to say you don't know how to play Coob. You're a sheltered Grove boy.
Yeah.
Eliseo is much less. So reasonable
I've
to
seen
say
the
that
world.
Eliseo knows games like Coob, at least, if not the exact.
Been around.
Yeah. So
I rolled a
it's
13.
13. Okay, so you're doing pretty good. Clearly, you've played this game before, and it shows. And a couple of the guys who have been chatting in the first place are like complimenting you on it, and like commenting about, oh, you played this before. Okay, I see where you're at, and they start to get like a little bit almost competitive about it. They're clearly having fun.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And Icarus, they're all in on like showing you the ropes a bit, and the one that's on your team is like giving you a couple strategy tips, like stand over here on this side and aim for that one, sort of thing.
I'll be like full into it, like, oh, how hard should I swing? And then just be like, like, will you hold it, help guide me?
Yeah, are you getting somebody to come up behind you and just do the like swing?
Yeah,
with
that's
you?
what I'm going for. I'm like, and then I'll just steal his secrets. It just works like that. This is the only way I know how to get information out of people.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm like trying to swap stories. Like, okay, so you've been doing this for 30 years. What's the like biggest haul you've ever had? Or what's the scariest monster that you've seen in your travels? And just trying to get them to impress us both.
Okay.
Roll for being impressed.
So yeah, I don't need to make you roll for anything in particular. You've in a manner of speaking, won them over, and between Icarus's enthralling, what was it called? Enthralling something?
Enthralling performance, I think.
Performance,
Yeah.
Yep. And then just like the casual, pleasant conversation you've had already anyway. So they'll say, oh yeah, like the craziest monster I've ever seen was like a super huge spider, but it was like way up close. It tipped the cart over. You know,
Oh,
luckily,
we
the
killed
muscle
that,
we had
didn't
for
we?
that one was like, it was several orcs, and they were able to handle it. So, I mean, nothing against these guys, but that one looked rough at first until they took care of it. Otherwise, you know, not really.
I don't
much
know.
else.
You look pretty strong. Ew. I mean,
We'll kind of laugh
tough.
that off. We'll kind of laugh that off. No, I do the transport, not the muscle or more dangerous work. So that's not my gig.
So you guys said you're merchants. Do you like specialize in something, or do you guys just kind of do all kinds of trade, or you just do the delivery part, or are you like woodworkers or something?
I'm not
like
sure I
like
understand
specific?
the question.
I was like trying to be like, are you like carpenters or woodworkers, or are you just like general merchants? Like that was in my head where I was going with that.
Oh, they told you that they're straight up like trade merchants.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if they had a specialty, you know. Okay.
Oh no, there's really no specialty among that.
Awkward. Okay. This is just me being awkward at this point.
Okay, should we pause there for you three or you two?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, Juno.
I don't think that we have much more to get out of them at all. So.
Okay, Juno, what's up? You're hanging with Azbara.
Yep, we are vibing. We're just sharing very vague things with one another. Not one of us really hitting home. Does he seem to be aware that I am also being a vague mother trucker?
I don't know.
Could I
if there's,
insight
like,
check that? Like, does it? He seems suspicious of me. Do I get the vibes that he is like more so than like, oh, she's socially uncomfortable to be around? Like, is he like
no
not
roll
trusting
necessary.
me?
I'll give you this at the very least. You'd be able to observe that his demeanor has not changed. The way he talks with you and addresses you and the people around you guys doesn't change. He specifically maintains this pretty vague, like technically answers any questions, but like the more specific you try to get, nothing changes about how he responds. And there's never really any point that he even like hesitates. So I'll give you like, it's reasonable to assume that there is some amount of truth to everything he tells you. It's just really hard to tell if it's fully true or, you know, maybe he's doing this, like, everything he tells you is true, but he's leaving out parts of the truth so that he's not lying.
Okay.
But I don't think I can really give you anything more than that.
Okay. She's gonna roll over a little bit more so she's like much closer to him on top of the boxes. Just rolling.
What are you doing?
Body. What are you doing? And she's going to reach down and be like, "Can I read one of your books?
Oh,
I haven't
please.
been able to read
Please.
much."
These are extremely old. Please, I must
I've got gloves.
handle them with extreme care. What?
She wears gloves. That's literally
You
part of
actually
her
have
costume.
gloves?
She does. That's canon. Yeah.
I'm not getting sunburnt. Not on these
She
delicate
is-
hands.
She's covered. That's canon.
Okay, so he would actually like be pretty insistent that you don't touch the books.
What if I
Make
let
him
you
touch
hold my warhammer while I do it? It's pretty cool.
No, this one must insist. The books are extremely delicate and...
What if you hold it and I just read in front of you? Like, you know, you just hold it up. I don't have to touch it.
Does this one have particular interest in Thay history?
Yeah. I am Fae.
The deception check.
I'm a descendant of the Fae.
Thay. Not
Oh,
Thay.
Fae. I thought you said Fae.
Thay.
Never mind. I did not respond with that.
Okay.
Never mind. Sorry, what was the question?
It's only deception if you
Interest
think you're
in-
lying.
Yeah. Interest in Thay history. I'm interested in the world's history of all places. I was homeschooled and we didn't really learn much, and that kind of fucked over my perception of the world. Baldur's Gate was kind of weird, and she just starts word vomiting, like how weird it's been since she left the Grove. And like eventually she just comes to a stop and she's like, so, yep, I am interested in Thay history.
Oh, well, this one apologizes, but everything is written in home language, and he'll actually open one of the books and show it to you, and it's in a language you definitely don't understand. In fact, have never seen before, and will say that you've seen at least a handful of languages, even if you only understand a couple. and this is very different.
But your spouse has comprehend languages.
Question is, do I have comprehend languages?
Book heist, book heist, book heist. I
do not
think
have
he's-
You guys are
comprehend
making me think
languages.
with this. I like it.
I think he's perfectly safe, but I also want to be a supportive spouse, so I will absolutely help you read this guy's diary if it would make you feel better.
I did just check for my Eldritch Invocations, and I do not have the read languages one.
Would you be willing to just speak to me in Thay, I guess, then? You don't have to tell me your histories, what does your language sound like?
You're trying to get him to say something to you in Thayan?
Yep. I just
Are
want to
you-
know what his language sounds like.
Okay. DM
This
to
is-
player, are you casting a spell to try and understand stuff?
I am going to... Yes. Do
Okay.
that. I'm going to cast tongues.
Oh my god.
Okay. Tongues?
Yep. I'm gonna duck my head into my turtleneck and just whisper in, like, feigning embarrassment and just whisper whatever I need to for the vocal component of tongues.
Okay. So when you start to
I'm so sneaky.
say, you're not sneaky enough for that to work. You're sitting practically on top of this guy.
Tell me your secrets.
Oh,
man.
the squirm fest today is so
This
fantastic.
man is gonna get hit by some fucking lightning pretty soon if he doesn't start talking.
Oh man. Okay,
It's just
so
gonna be a weird time in the back of this.
yeah, it's-
Sorry, Olta.
It already is, and it's
Sorry.
great. Alta's full squirm mode. I imagine you like ass end out, just like peering over the back of your seat, like what is going on?
You just see Juno's
Yes.
feet, slumber party style, just kicking. She's like
But
trying
you
to get
can
in
hear
this man's
all
space.
of this. Yep, she can hear all of it. Any responses, Olta? Again, I don't want to. I want to
Yeah,
lead,
feel free
but
to
I
interrupt.
also
This
don't
is
want to
going
skip
downhill
any.
quickly.
I mean, she could probably. I mean, Juno could probably hear Ulta, like, muttering under her breath, like, oh god. Oh, she's casting a spell. Okay. Here we go. Like, she's, like, not probably hiding it too much.
When
No.
Olta says, oh god, she's casting a spell, Juno will respond with, it's so I can actually understand it too.
And as soon as you acknowledge her, she's just gonna kind of go. And then just let it all happen.
Okay.
Man.
This is so great. This has got to be. This is up there in one of my favorite role-playing sessions I've ever been involved with. Okay, so you cast the spell, Juno, and you do know that as sneaky as you want to be, even with your spellcasting focus taking care of the, like, consuming material components aspect of casting spells, there's still, you have to, like, say a quick incantation, even if it's only one word. And then, like, magical energy can be observable to some people, especially if they are learned in magical arts. And so you'll finish casting a spell, but when you start, he'll, like, raise an eyebrow and tilt his head toward you and get a little smile on his face. And he will say to you in what you understand as Thayan, but now you can understand the words, this one has observed your gifts in the divine. It is fascinating.
Thanks. I just wanted to be able to understand what you were saying. Languages are cool. I can speak a few of them.
Languages, and this is still in Thayan, which is why I'm not doing the voice. Languages are a gifted window into the cultures around us.
Can you tell me a traditional bedtime story of your people in your language? And then she'll go back to rolling over away from this, staring up at the top of this cart again, and just fully, like, just sweating it out. Like, I hate it here. Get out of this cart. And she's slowly gonna, like, slink her way further away.
Okay, are you doing that while he's telling you a bedtime story?
Oh, if he actually starts telling me a bedtime story, I figured he was just gonna be like, I'm not telling you my secrets. Again. So, if he tells me a bedtime story, I will sit there and listen.
Yeah, he'll tell you a short bedtime story about a small bug that finds a large leaf to create into a humble hut home.
This is a very hungry caterpillar, but in Thayan.
No. And the small bug forgets to fasten this leaf to anything, so it rolls away in a great storm. And after several minutes of rolling and blowing away, this bug ends up in a strange land where it doesn't recognize any of the other bugs or trees or plants or shrubs around him, and presents a friendly face to some of the other bugs around him, and ends up learning many a great thing about new bugs and plants, and happily ever after. Improv.
Excellent. I'm glad that Samaro and I are both cringeworthy people.
Yeah.
After this story ends, I'll be like, huh, neat. Okay, I'll let you get back to your writing. If you want some soup, they're supposed to be making it. And then she is gonna sink out and just sit down next to Olta and stare directly ahead into the void at this point. She is just, like, filled with all of this embarrassment, knowing that other people were there to witness it, and she's just like, fuck. And she just sits there, unmoving. Definitely clammy, though. She looks dewy. Like, her face is sweating profusely.
Yeah, Ulta will just kind of like tap her knee and you tried. I mean, you did good. I couldn't listen to it for a second longer, but you did everything you could. I appreciate what you did. I'm glad it's over, too.
Aster.
Yeah.
Back to you. At one point, Jamna actually looks a bit confused, almost frustrated, mostly confused, and then takes a peek out to the campfire and quickly skips to the next cart.
Okay, can I vibe check whatever that was?
Sure. Are you looking for something specific or general vibe check?
Yeah, it's like, why might she be frustrated? Like, is she just, like, not finding what she's looking for? Is she looking for something? Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah, you can
vibe
insight
check
that.
and see. 14 again.
Okay. Hard to tell. It didn't really seem like she was looking for anything specific, but it's clear that she's very good at, first of all, hiding physically and moving about sneakily, but then also, like, potentially hiding her intentions.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep following her into the different carts because, like, I don't know. What if she doesn't tell us something that she sees? So I'll
Okay.
see it. I don't know.
Okay. In the third cart, and again, this is going to be short because you're able to check a lot of things in a short amount of time, or in an amount of time, but it is the same. It's just a bunch of rocks, gravel, and wooden planks. You would notice that the mark on this third cart is the same as the other two, which is again different from the mark on the carts that you have. And she does a pretty quick check of this one and quickly sneaks back off to your carts. And Olta, you would you'd actually be like kind of surprised, like almost like jump at between your attention being split between the group in front of you, the awkward behind you, and then like the fact that she's actually very good at kind of sneaking around. She just sort of like pops up right in front of you and hops back into the seat again, right next to you. All more of the same.
It's real weird, right? It's weird that they're all that way and then we're just full of gems and shit, or it's weird that it's just like wood and...
Well, I was told that we'd be chasing treasures. This is new.
Anything special about like were there like runes on the wood, or was it a special type of tree or anything, or did you taste any of it? Like maybe it was like not real. I don't know. Sometimes.
Taste?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes if you lick it, you can tell if it's real. I don't. That's a sentence I'm not sure I like saying.
Yeah,
Just...
I don't do that.
Sure.
At this point, little rat Aster like hops up into the seats with them and starts to talk, but it just comes out, it squeaks at first, and then he's like, "Wait!" He comes out of wild shape. Well, I actually got pretty close to it, just crawling into crates and stuff, and it smelled treated. It definitely smelled real. It smelled funny. It didn't smell natural. I didn't like it. Yeah, there was, the rocks and the planks, but then there was this powdery kind of stuff. It was almost gravel, but it was a lot smaller. It wasn't quite sand either. It was definitely rockier. I'm not really sure what it was. I've never seen anything like that.
I'm going to correct that statement, Aster.
Oh.
Again, with your ridiculous perception, you have seen it.
Oh.
On commonly traveled roads along your journey.
Pavement.
I apologize. I should have said that.
Oh,
earlier.
no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, it's whatever is used to make these roads. It all seems like something is being constructed. I'm not sure if it's for, the cult purposes or just commercial. I don't really know.
Any ideas what we think the marks mean? I mean, now we know what's in the cards. We know our card is marked differently.
Does the mark not mean what's in or what's supposed to go in the cart? I mean, that's what I thought, but...
Maybe it's when we get to our end destination, how they'll kind of send people different directions.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully the others talking to the other camp will have more information on that.
should we pause there for you guys? Or Chrissy, do you have more?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if Icarus and Eliseo were back yet, but if not, then she
Not
has
yet.
no more questions. Okay, then
Coop
Olta
takes
is
a very long time.
okay. Cool. Yeah, if you guys aren't coming back anytime soon, she's gonna be kind of like probably she's not the most smart kobold, so she's just trying to noodle out a bunch of shit that's far above her pay grade.
Okay, so we'll go back to Eliseo and Icarus then. We'll say this is to the point that your game is almost wrapping up. It's actually a quicker game of Coop.
It's because Icarus is not good at it.
I think I'm figuring it out now.
You throw the bones at the skulls, you knock the skulls down. That's the game.
I thought we were hitting it with a stick.
You throw the stick.
They say bones and skulls, but what you're actually holding is a bunch of sticks.
Is sticks and different shaped sticks.
I thought it was much closer to Guwolf, this other game I've played. It's
Did
a
you
grove
just
game.
try to make golf canon?
This time I would like to be the one to lead the
It's a
call.
grove game. You wouldn't know it.
Oh no, he actually is a frat boy. I hate it.
We sound so fucking hoity-toity right now. Elves already have a bad enough rap. You can't say that we also have golf.
I was trying to justify how I was like asking for help to play
We
it.
live in
I
a
couldn't
gated
see it.
community with our own golf course and swimming pools. What we sound like right now.
No.
Minimum
And
boat
it kind
size
of is
requirements.
true. This is kind of gross.
This is great.
Yeah, but I think
anyway.
I think I got the hang of it. It's a shame that we just finished the round.
It's one continuous game. There's no rounds. It's great.
Well, why did no one tell me that?
All right.
I was like
well,
counting
you,
to this
you
number.
keep
Anyways.
teaching him, and maybe we'll play another round when we camp up tomorrow night.
Hey, that sounds good. You gonna like stick around in range? Maybe, nice change of company instead of just the same. And I just kind of motion across the
Yeah.
field
Well, if
to-
you and your as long as your animals are in healthy condition, we'll keep a pace that makes sense. As long as we get to the checkpoint in time.
Yeah. I'll have to check what we're doing after the checkpoint.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed right over
Oh,
there.
I was supposed
And
to make soup.
I'm just gonna point to my and wink, and I don't know how to drop the bit.
Just leave. Just go home.
The fire is still going if you want to make soup, but you like.
I did
it's
not
kinda
bring
up in the
soup
air.
materials. I was just told to bring her some soup.
Okay, well, you still have a campfire by your carts as well, so the
Excellent.
opportunity is not completely lost.
I guess I will leave, say good game, and go make soup for my wife.
All
Soup
right,
for my
Olta,
family.
Aster, they're returning. Juno, you'd be able to hear them come back as well. So, collectively, what's happening now? Oh, I will say, okay. Mr. Saito, these good tables would be very good for us to keep. They may or may not be used tonight. So I will give you my Scout's honor that I don't think they do this when making a Scout's honor, but we're gonna keep them, and when they do apply, they'll happen even beyond this session.
I
Fair-
will make a note of it.
Fair enough, gang? Like they're not even close enough to like auto success a thing, or I'll interpret it a different way to help in it. Like they're far enough away from that territory. So we'll just keep them as they are and make them happen when they apply. Okay, sorry, I interrupted one of you to say that. My bad.
the moment I realize that LSAO is coming over, I jump off the cart and just go like awkwardly speed walking towards them and just smash my face into their chest.
I forgot to make soup.
Nope, it's okay.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
hungry anymore.
Okay. I just do the squishy hug. Because you need the pressure, apparently.
Yeah.
She's moist.
And like into your chest, I just mumble about everything that just transpired. And how terrible it was, and how I'm embarrassed that Olta had to hear it all.
Or
and
just...
eventually, like I say, we're gonna steal his books.
I'm just like slowly petting her hair and prestidigitating the sweat away, making her a little drier and more comfortable. And just, okay. I'm not good at heists, but sure, I can read the book if you need it.
No,
Once you get it.
I don't even know that I want to read it.
Then why do you want the book?
I think they're about us, and I don't think we want anyone else to have information about us, seeing as people already know about Olta and Greenest, and we're trying to infiltrate the cult that tried to kill Olta and Greenest.
Okay. Why do we need we just want the books because then nobody else has the books?
Yes.
Okay, they're in a language that nobody understands though, right? He's writing in his language.
What if we burn them?
Oh my god, you can't just suggest that we burn books.
You
Yeah,
just
but
said there's
first of all-
information we can't let get out.
First of all, how dare you say that phrase around me? Second,
But, like, you can read the books. So then, you could technically take whatever this Thay magical city place information is, and you could learn about a magical city, and that could be cool. But also, the books are about us, or at least one of them is. Maybe two. I don't know how much notes he actually takes about us.
so you
Or how
just
big his
want,
handwriting is.
you just want to steal a man's diary so that nobody else gets to read about us.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm also kind of curious now about this Thay place, blah, 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 but...
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. I'm into City of Magic, yes. Country of
I'm
Magic.
just gonna go, aren't we Thay?
Country.
Country of
We're
Magic.
Thay, not Thay. I
thought it was
also
the
got
sa-
confused.
Oh, shit, my bad. I heard, nah.
Yeah, tomato, potato.
F-E-T-H-A.
So, have we just asked him to read it?
Yes.
And he said no?
I mean, it is his diary.
I mean, I'm just...
Also, I'm hoping that this conversation is happening far enough away from the wagons so that he cannot hear us talking about
Oh,
reading
you
his
mean we
books.
weren't having this conversation right next to him?
Oh, I
I
thought
had
we were
assumed
right
so.
next to the wagon.
But yeah.
Just kidding. I'm still sitting at the wagon, so I'm gonna retcon everything Olta just said, because if she's not near the wagon, then she can't say it.
You would have noticed that like everybody's congregated a little bit like at the front of the middle wagon, like at least 20 feet in front of you, sort of thing. So we can say that you went over there and joined the conversation if you wanted to, but this is far enough away that you definitely only hear whispers, like strained whispers between all of them.
She's not gonna move from the cart.
Okay.
What if I just spill ink on the books?
But then we can't read them.
But
But
just-
then nobody else can.
I'm not burning them.
I just
How
want to know
about-
what people say about me in their journals.
I know. How
then you
about...
could read mine.
I already
No,
know what
we
yours say.
already
I've
read
read
yours.
yours.
Oh,
I love you. Both of us immediately. We already read yours.
even though I wrote it in Celestial?
How about that?
Just points at LSAO.
Anyways, how about this? We will find a way for me to read the journals. I will tell you if they contain anything particularly threatening, and then we can decide if we need to burn them or spill ink on them or just let the man and his journals alone.
How are we gonna get the journals from him?
Hang on, let me check my spell list. It's been like 6 weeks.
Cast invisibility on you.
On me?
Yeah, you're the one
I
who
could
wants
have
to steal
cast
it.
this on myself.
Yeah, no, I
I
would
slap you with invisibility.
Wait, guys. Again, we have forgotten. I have a bird. I can look through the bird's eyes. The little bird can land on his shoulders while he's writing a journal and just
He
be
knows
like,
about your
chirp,
bird.
chirp, I'm a bird, like a cute bird. I don't think he knows I can look through the eyes. He knows that I can talk to the bird.
He's been writing down everything he's seen about us.
Okay.
And you've used your bird before when we were in the
tiptoe
forest.
All
into the cart.
Puff is also really cute and highly noticeable.
Puff is really cute and highly noticeable. Why do I hear dice being rolled right now?
Oh, Icarus. Doing Icarus things. Wait, are you gonna try to steal from him right now when he's awake writing in his book?
Do it now. We should wait till he's sleeping.
If
How
you
do we know he's
decide
not
to do
sleeping?
something, I can't use those rules unless you
Okay.
straight up went and did something.
I would like to sneak into the cart. I don't know if he's awake or asleep now. I don't know.
I just told you. I was just talking to him.
Well, I can watch him fall asleep. I don't
You
know.
have no impulse control.
She was the one who came over and was like, we need to do something.
I didn't mean right now. We still have 5 days before Waterdeep.
Planning. We're never gonna make it to Waterdeep.
No.
I mean, it's
do it right now. I'm gonna
I'm already
follow his
invisible.
invisible body with my sea invisibility and just
I'm already
go
invisible.
like, grab
It's
him
worth
by
a
the back of the
peep.
collar.
I just want to look.
You can look with your body turned not invisible.
Would
You
it
guys
be-
can like now hear us just like grumbling as twins.
Would it be more
just
questionable
arguing.
if I did it non-invisible?
That's why we're not doing it right now.
Everything you do is questionable, okay? We're trying to find the least obtrusive way to do this, if we have to at all. Maybe we just trust him.
My invisible face is looking at you with a look.
My invisible face is looking in a random direction.
You know the keep your friends close and your enemies close or whatever? If you don't trust him, keep him close so that you can trust that he's near you.
That's why I was going in there, to keep him close.
Alright. Well, you guys should also hear from Olta and Aster about what they found.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Shall we just go and sit around the campfire and maybe I'll like make soup or something so that we can eat and not be all hangry at each other and then we can talk with no one around except for us. Okay. Let's go. Aster
Juno
and
will
Olta,
like wave for
help
Aster
me
and
make
Olta to come.
supper. I need
before
help.
realizing.
Sure. I'll
Realize
go
that you're
over.
invisible.
Yeah, just waiting.
So yeah, I'm just very obviously like, I need help making supper. You two come here. And then we can fill each other in.
Yeah.
Okay? We have filled each other in.
Yeah. Like we talked about. Yeah, I mean, I found all these construction supplies in the cart. I'm not really sure what that means. But did anybody in that camp say anything about construction supplies or?
Yeah, they were talking about how maybe the things that we were carrying were going towards building a whole new city.
Oh.
And, you know, with my past, like, I remember it being eventually there would be some cool big city. Like someday all of
Strange.
them are gonna be around each other.
It's very counterintuitive with how many cities they've taken down, and now they're going to try to build a city.
Well, location is key apparently.
Reiteration, just to make sure we're in like potentially getting stuff mixed up territory. So I just want to
Right.
jab it back in to make sure a conversation with your faction leaders would remind you that Greenest was by far the largest attack, at least that they know of, and that's why it was so like alarming in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Strange.
Yeah, and I mean that was Greenest was like weeks and weeks ago now. Have there been any other news of more cities getting attacked? We're on the road, so I don't know that we would have opportunity to hear, but
You're pretty secluded, and no, I mean, the few conversations outside of your small group that you've had anyway, or even heard, you hadn't heard of any. Like,
okay.
El Turel, you met with the faction leaders and kind of got the info dump there, and everything since then has been travel. Even going through Baldur's Gate was like, you whipped through it. You like saw some weird activity from some of the other cultists, but like it was in passing anyway, and then you like spent the night and got back on the road. So you definitely know that your opportunities for even observing such conversations, getting such information, have been thin, to say the least.
But I feel like if it was a big enough deal, like somebody from one of our factions would have let us know.
Well,
You're right.
about that. So,
Good segue. That was great.
yeah. I did get a message, but then I responded, and now I have to wait. So, maybe.
Sweet.
Eliseo, they when Jamna handed over the Stone Ascending.
The Rocky Talkie.
Yep, the Rocky Talkie. Oh my god, I love that.
I found that in my notes. It was amazing.
Stealing it.
It
Yoink.
literally, it was said in session like months ago.
Oh, well, I didn't
Session
remember
13.
it, and now I'm all excited about it again.
Okay, good. Rocky Talkie. There you go.
Like, everyone saw it. And you
Right.
specifically would know what that was.
Yeah.
And you know every detail about how it works.
Right.
Olta doesn't. She's
Oh.
a bit confused right now.
Okay. So you got the message on the rock and you responded to it, so you'll get a message tomorrow again. It's kind of one of those use it one time things a day, you know. So
Alright, so well then I blew that first message.
no, it's fine. You're figuring out how it worked. It's all good.
Alright, yeah. So next
Bill-
time I'll wait
Yeah.
to see what they say, and then I'll talk to you guys first, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, they'll come through with more information tomorrow. We can make a list of questions we can ask every day or something, you know?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Do I have to talk into the rock? Like,
I mean, yeah,
can
little.
I just think it, or do I put it?
You do have to say stuff to it. So
Okay. Just
It-
checking.
yeah. Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, I've exhausted all of my smooth conversation for the day. So soup here.
Okay. And just let me know when you guys want to call it for like turning in for this in-game evening.
Olta is done. She will
Yeah.
take the soup and sit down and eat it.
I think we've shared all the information amongst all of the people.
Juno will make the hut.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you.
So we're basically shacking up for the night in game. Let's take one more super quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up our last hour or so with
We do it.
4 more days of travel ahead of us. We will be right back. Okay, it's not the worst. Okay. We had a player who had to dip out a little early. So
I get to be 2 people. Or no
Yeah.
people.
I'm gonna fix this
We should just
while.
do Corndog's screen twice and make her be both the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both.
We can
That
do that.
sounds terrible.
I'm gonna fix this on the fly because
Just have
I
2
I'm in
cans of
Juno's
Corndog.
brain. I
Behind
cannot
scenes
put
while the
Icarus's
stream
in
live.
mine.
There's not much of Icarus's. It's fine.
It's drastically different than mine. I am
Yeah.
not a bard.
So we're fast tracking through the next day because it sounds like not a whole lot is happening during the day itself other than travel. There we go. That's good enough for now. So we're at the next evening where it sounds like you guys wanted to handle your next stuff. So what is that?
Olta is just waiting for her message. Anxiously, knowing that she botched the response message.
LSA will try to make themselves available for, like, if you need emotional support for responding to this message.
Question. Who's the message coming from? Because if you want, I could also, if you know who it is, I could reach out to them too. A couple more
Industrial,
times
correct?
at least.
Or at least that's who I thought had the other.
Yeah, waiting for Astral to respond. Did we think of questions? Do you want to write them down on a piece of parchment?
Writing questions down would be good. Okay. Questions for Astral. I would like to know if there have been any developments on any other cities getting destroyed, and if so, like where?
You're asking the other group about that?
No, these are questions to ask over the Rocky Talkie.
Got it. Okay. Olta, you got a response. Sorry for the super awkward delay. Well, the rock glows again at one point, and you would remember that you'll only get the message when you touch it. Only trust your party. Secure location not necessary for these messages. Sell your cart at Waterdeep. We need you there. New contact.
Before I respond, I will pull my group aside and relay that message. DM, I'm going to ask you definitely to type that because Chrissy's player brain and terrible memory is never going to remember all of that.
Done and done. In the group chat.
Thank you.
It's such a mood.
Yeah. So I will definitely repeat that to my party. And
Maybe we ask who's the new contact, and do
Or how
they
we can
know
find them?
what? Oh yeah, where we could find them. But I could also ask her these questions too. But why do they need supplies for roads and stuff? Do they know?
So,
Any questions that you don't feel like you could get over the walkie, I can also just yell into her mind.
sure. Okay. As quickly as possible, Olta will respond, check. Trust no one. Where do we go for contact? Also, you might have a voice yell in your head in a minute. I'm sorry ahead of time. I apologize. It's how the spell works. Send.
That would definitely get cut off halfway through.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I've said it several times. I'll say it again. This is easily one of my 2 favorite roleplay sessions of any game of any system ever. This is great. This was your response. Okay, I'm categorizing the exchanges so that we have it. Okay. So you responded to her message. You know that, again, tomorrow is the earliest you'll be able to have any interaction at all through the stones.
Correct.
Nothing really of note happens leading into, like, the point in the evening that you'd be getting tired, risking exhaustion, as it were. So, anything else?
After I send my message, I will turn to Juno and say, your turn, bud.
Okay.
And then I will hold a piece of parchment out with the question, any developments on destroyed cities and where?
Okay. Hi, I know Olta just reached out. Do you know of any destroyed cities? If so, where? You can respond to both of our messages.
That's it. Hey, good job.
We can count.
Hey.
I'm writing these down so I don't forget as well.
Hope I spoke slowly enough for everyone to understand, because I don't know what I just said. I blacked out.
I'm gonna forget in like 30 seconds, so.
Yeah. This is fine. And mine they can respond to instantly.
Yes.
Hello,
So-
I'm in your brain.
You would...
Secrets, please.
The weave that you've established tingles enough that you can understand through magical means that the intended message to the intended recipient has been received. And a few seconds later, you do get a response. Sycumber and Loudwater East. As bad as Greenest. These are city names.
Oh, okay.
I will type them up for you.
God bless.
Sycumber and Loudwater East. As bad as Greenest. contact in Waterdeep, Volothamp. She has more words. He's... Pause. Eccentric.
No.
Volothamp?
Volothamp. Eliseo, you know this name.
YOLO Tramp. Oh.
He's the author of your book.
Wait, like Volothamp is the long version of Volo? Oh no. Oh no.
So you would see me, like, as I get this message, writing it down, you would see that name before I, like, iterated it to the group.
Oh no. I'm about to meet a hero. Oh no.
Pause for panic.
Everyone can sweat here, don't worry. It's your turn.
Hey, about those teasers. Okay.
I resent you so much right now.
Yep,
Dog,
so...
Oh my god, for a
just-
second I thought Cordog was frozen.
No,
Yeah,
No,
same. I was
was-
like, oh, that was
I was
weird
like,
for
oh no,
2
we're about to
seconds.
lose him.
that's just my face as I try to process thoughts. I'm a mouth breather.
I didn't
no,
mean to
respect.
think
I
that
was just
face out
scared.
loud.
I'm really good at... I am Katie from Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah.
But I'll tell the group that message, and then after I'm done saying, I'm like, she is way better at sending messages than I am. I felt like that was really succinct, and it took us 2 to send what she was able to respond to with 1. And even then, she had flavor text at the end. She had leftovers.
Gee, you know, we're newer at this.
That's fair.
Eliseo would be comforting you, but they are blue screening right now. Just like,
The best I can do is send messages through words, and you guys are doing it with your brain. So, you know, I think you're doing great, all things considered.
Well, thanks.
Also, what the hell kind of name is Volothamp? Am I right? You know,
listen, he's a
am
very
I right?
renowned explorer.
I don't know,
And-
most names that I've come across here are very strange to me, but then again, I'm from way out there.
Eliseo, you said a thing. Do you know them? Are you their friend?
No, he's great, you know. Yeah, very well renowned explorer and connoisseur of magical things.
And author.
And just he's pretty cool. Also, book writing. Yep.
Why are you nervous?
'Cause I've had his book on my shelf for decades, so you
And you
know.
know a whole lot to talk about, yeah?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you can make a new friend.
You're like his #1 fan. You should write like a sign,
Or...
like a cheer sign, like a
Sure.
Volothamp's #1 fan, and hold it up.
Niffer, you need to check Discord.
I already did.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Are signs how you interact with heroes?
I don't know that I want to interact with hero. You know, like, what if they're disappointing? Or like, you know, aren't what you think they are when you're 10 years old?
Or
And-
what if they're super cool and you get to learn a bunch of cool wizard spells from them? Make this about you. It's not about this full Thamp. This is about you. You get to go learn things. It's your journey, not his. They've already taken theirs.
Well, yeah, but like, we need to like do cool stuff. So like, things were cool. What?
Do you want me to
mumble
make the sign for
Into
you?
your chest.
No, no, we'll be cool. Yeah, we have to meet him for work anyways, right? So like, it'll.
Yeah, it's a work thing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a fan thing. It's a work thing.
Yeah.
They're expecting us. They are meeting us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe they should be
I-
nervous about meeting us because
More people should be, honestly.
But to Juno's point, I mean, a lot of the plan has been revolving around what we do, which is a lot to think about.
That's also nerve-wracking.
Also, how much do you think we're gonna get for this wagon filled with shit that we're supposed to sell?
Are we supposed to sell it with the stuff on it, or are we supposed to like offload it and then just like sell the wagons?
I mean, I don't think any of the Harpers really want us to give this cult money. So if we just accidentally like walked into town and just sold all the jewels off of it, oops.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't hear other plans, so
I'm
sure.
spitballing. It doesn't have to
Well-
be my plan.
Well, here's Olta's concern about that, and she'll definitely say that in third person. They said they're circumventing the city, right? They didn't say they were going into Waterdeep. Didn't they say they were going around Waterdeep when you were talking to them around the campfire, Eliseo?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
This is an
cool.
old noggin in here, but sometimes she catches one or two things, they stick. That was it.
Great.
So
You're
But-
amazing.
Astral said to sell it in Waterdeep, right?
well, what I'm thinking is that we're gonna have to figure out a way to get out of this caravan line that we're currently in a way that doesn't sound off any major red flags, because we're already the odd cart out for the most part, because everything else is wood and everything else is dirt, and we're a cart full of gems.
I think I have something for this. To get out of the line. Earlier or a couple days ago when I disappeared from that group, they mentioned something about having bad meat, and that's why I needed to leave the group. So what if we all just act like we ate bad meat, and we just need to stop for a prolonged period of time to just let it out of our systems? Maybe we need to rest a couple hours longer because of bad meat in our bodies.
So I have been wrestling with, first of all, whether or not to, and second of all, if yes, how to communicate this to you. The collective intelligence of the group, for me, says it's reasonable. Among you guys as a group, at some point you would realize you haven't communicated anything to Astriel about where you are or what you're doing right now. As far as you know, she doesn't know that you're in a cult cart. She doesn't know that you're posing right now. She just knows that you're on your way here.
I should send a message.
So, goal number 1, work on communication.
Also, memory retention.
I can send 2 more messages today, so 50 more words.
With
to
2 opportunities
Astral.
for response.
Yep, with 2 opportunities for response. I'm gonna write these down. You guys, any questions you want to ask? Don't spitball them at me because I'm trying to write down my next message so I can be as succinct as Astral.
Yeah, Olta is going to sit there uncomfortably and try to count out words, go far beyond the 25-word count that she has been counting, and go, yeah, I think maybe it's just up to you. We need her to know that we are currently undercover. We are counterintelligence, if you will. We have a cart full of gemstones and not wood. And we also have 2 fucking hitchhikers that won't go away. Do we need to kill them?
Oh.
I mean, Olta's just asking. If there's a mission and it needs completed, it is what it is. If they are problematic and in the way, anybody have anything else to add? That's all I can really think of. Aster, any ideas?
I mean, yeah, that about covers all the loose ends. Really working at that message.
Woo, got it. All right. Here we go. We are undercover as cultists in a cultist wagon. Cart full of gems and 2 hitchhikers. Expected to drop off outside Waterdeep. Do we kill hitchhikers?
Say that one more time, please.
We are undercover as cultists in a cultist wagon. Cart full of gems and 2 hitchhikers. Expected to drop off outside Waterdeep. Do we kill hitchhikers? Tis 25 words.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm just writing it down here so I can make sure I keep track of the exchanges accurately. I'm thinking of this as like Morse code, where there's like some time where the message is being sent, and then there's like writing it down and interpreting and then trying to come up with the response. Do we need to kill them?
Do we kill hitchhikers? Who knows? Hello, Snickers. Hello.
Undercover as cultists in a cultist wagon, cultist full of gems, and 2 hitchhikers. I missed a piece. What was between that and do we kill the hitchhikers?
In a cultist wagon.
I have we're undercover as cultists in a cultist wagon.
Yep,
Our
cart
carts
full
are-
of gems and 2 hitchhikers. Expected to drop off outside Waterdeep. Do we kill hitchhikers?
Expected to drop off outside Waterdeep. Okay.
I don't think this plan was very well thought out.
Look, an attempt was made.
What else would she say in response to that?
Well, hey guys, hey chat. Did you know that we are affiliates with Found Familiar Coffee? Oh no, this
Hell
is an
yeah.
ad now.
Yeah,
Hashtag
Gary
ad.
could use some right now.
Okay,
Except it's
sorry.
bedtime.
Oh, it's not coffee. Oh,
Took
is
a
it
second.
familiar?
Okay,
It is.
the response is...
Go check it down below.
The response is, do you know the hitchhikers? If not, leave them be. Your destination is the city. Killing might be unnecessary attention.
Okay, so they think killing them might be unnecessary attention. But we don't know the hitchhikers. How do we get them off of our cart?
We kill them.
Or we take them where they need to go.
Right,
To
yes.
Waterdeep.
Just say we're going
Thank you,
somewhere
Aster.
else. This
All
has
right.
been nice.
Sure.
See you never.
That's smarter, Aster. You got it. Okay.
Glad to help, I guess.
A little bit of bloodlust or something. I'm not sure.
I am still very concerned about just letting the dude in red go.
Okay, so kill the guy in red. Or at least steal his stuff.
Yeah. Maybe that.
Okay, did she say anything about what we do with the cart full of gems?
She didn't, did she?
Uh-oh.
Message number 3.
Oh.
This is so great. Oh, man.
Hey chat, did you know that we post some really awesome stuff on our Patreon page? You should check it out. It's free. Well,
True.
some of it is free.
We've got some seriously intense communication happening right now.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, we have playlists of all of our shows on YouTube, so if you're walking in the chat for the first time, you have no idea what's going on, you should check out the other episodes.
What's Jamna's last name?
Gleam Silver.
Glean Silver?
Gleam as in magic. Silver.
Okay.
You're totally risking a word and her last name. It's impressive.
Hey chat, did you know that I love you?
You're cute.
All right, I got it.
I'm ready.
Message number 3. This is the last one I've got, guys. I have no 3rd level spells now. What do about Card of Gems? It gets better. What know about Thay? Do know Jamna Gleam Silver or Azbara Jos? Azbara has notes on all of us. Help.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so good. Do know Jamna Gleam Silver or Azbara Jos. What was after that?
Azbara has notes on all of us. Help.
You could say has notes on everyone here, just to like say words, give you some more.
Has notes on all of us here. Yeah, that brings me to 25. Help.
Oh my god.
Said help.
Please.
You guys remember that GIF that I posted in our TPK show discussions Discord channel earlier? Discord. We've got one for TPK roleplay. And the little baby earlier that was like covered in gross food that was going, help. That's me right now. Help. I send that GIF image over sending.
I love that.
Thank you, Chrissy. This is our second or third reference of The Office tonight. It's fine. It's just a bad show, but it's fine.
You better calm down. Don't let Luke Alak hear you say that.
Ouch, you guys, my abs hurt.
I actually have like a pain in my side from giggling from this session, so
Yes.
this is very good.
Same. Okay.
Ouch, my face.
She sounds concerned in her response.
Ooh.
Consider anyone from Thay here a potential threat.
Yes.
Only known immigrants are with the Red Wizards. Name unfamiliar. Jamna is with Harpers. Double agent.
Okay, guys, so we're not gonna kill Jamna. And I have a feeling, like, in the moment I say that, Jamna, like, just sneaks her head, like, around, because she's just so sneaky the whole time. I think we could get away with really fucking up the guy in red. He mentioned how, like, bad people took over his land, but maybe he's actually one of the bad people who took over his land and is just lying about it and is just giving like half truths because he was a part of that group. He is wearing
Red, yeah.
rather atrocious wizarding robes.
Yeah.
Why is he here, though?
I mean, maybe the Red Wizards are trying to get with the cult. Or maybe they're working on behalf of the cult. Or maybe they're going to try to usurp the cult from within and take more power for themselves. I don't know. That's just all speculative at this point. But I'm going to beat the shit out of him.
Ooh. All right.
Or steal his books. I'm just going to steal his books.
Yeah, let's start with stealing the books.
All right,
How do
can
we
I
steal
have
his
the
books?
books then?
Yes.
Cool.
Books are yours. Once we get them.
I mean, can we like share the books? I have an intelligence I need to raise.
Yeah. If they're in a foreign tongue, I can like translate them
Even
so
better.
that you can read them.
Yes.
But like, if he's a Red Wizard, they are bad news, according to Astral. And Juna just points at her head like Astral's just in there right now.
So does anyone know anything about the Red Wizards?
You
and
do.
she's gonna look at I do?
Mhm.
Oh, no.
She's gonna look at herself.
Okay, this might be a Chrissy memory.
Ow. Oh no, my abs. Hang on.
Does anybody know? Wait.
Wait a second.
Is Chrissy not remembering a short exchange with Astriel that was about the Red Wizards and their activities before becoming involved with the Cult of the Dragon? And we know for sure they're... Okay, so you know for sure from Harpers, and the other folks in Harpers know from Harpers info, Red Wizards of Thay, like some amount of them are definitely working with the Cult of the Dragon. And Olta specifically, you had a conversation with Astriel where she said the only like serious activity that's known in this country about the Red Wizards of Thay before this known doing something with the Cult of the Dragon was like trying to raise undead dragons in Thay.
And he actually said that to Aster. That was information that, like, in their conversation,
Yes.
that was mentioned. Sastan was also mentioned. The Solkir were also mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He's been very forthright about all of it.
But he's a half-truth teller.
I mean, do we know that?
Yes, I know it in my gut.
That was something that she vibe checked on him. Was like,
I did get a good, talk with them and looked at them, and
We could have
That thing
another
seems
conversation with him, and Judah will just flex it up in a zone of truth, and not just ripping off fingernails, just regular zone of truth.
okay.
So to
And
this
just,
point, and this is not to lead anything, but just to make sure that we're remembering everything that's been discussed to this point. You did vibe check all of that, and did really well with the vibe check. So the resulting feeling for anybody involved with that was, Azbara was telling the truth about all of that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I could tell, he's just a guy trying to make a new life for himself. I mean, we can feel free to have another conversation in Zone of Truth again. I'm not sure how much he'll trust that, but I don't know, based on our conversation, as also someone from way on the outside, I didn't find anything weird about it.
so I'm not sure if this is a democracy that we're traveling in, but is it 3 people wanting to question him again and 1 not? Or is it we're going to trust Aster's vibe check because they have super high wisdom and perception and they vibed real hard? Because I'm okay either way. Olta is apparently bloodlusting today, and I don't know why. I don't know where that came from at all.
Juno's
but-
feeding off of that bloodlust too. Juno's like, yes, kill. It's fine.
So what?
I think it would be good for us to at least try the Zone of Truth. And if he gets uncomfortable enough, he can leave. He can walk the rest of the way himself. Jamna, we could... Oh my gosh, Nif, are you okay? Are you okay, friend?
Yes, I'm good. My cat and I just got into a minor argument. It's fine.
I just saw the headphones just go poof. Okay. But we try vibe checking him again, this time in Zone of Truth. He doesn't like it, he can find a new ride. I also still think it's a good idea for us to just pretend that we have the shits. So that way we can get away from this caravan. Bad meat, going back to the bad meat. But that way we can get away from the caravan that we're kind of lumped up with, give us some space so no one notices if we're like, sorry, we need to go to the city for medical attention because bad meat. If we need to go to the city for medical attention for the baddies.
All the old bloodlust just rubbed off on my cat who's choosing violence.
Oh, baby cat says no.
Baby
He was
crimes.
asleep on the floor next to me until we started talking about killing things, and now he is up and ready to go.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a fourth vote to kill. Just kidding.
Yeah, I guess. He counts as Puff, I guess. Puff's vote is violence.
But I do think that Aster's probably right. I think Courtney is in kill brain, and just doesn't want these books out. But
Well,
I think
That's
we-
valid. That's a survival instinct.
Yeah,
No
to
one
be
can
fair,
know about us.
and Olta will pipe in and say that, like, to be fair, it feels like Aster's getting a better vibe than Juno, because Juno had, like, he wasn't super forthright with them. So, like, we have two very different experiences with the same human. So I think that's why I'm asking which one we're going with, because Olta has only observed a bunch of fucking awkward across the board with everybody. So
I think that like was also 80% me. I'm not really good at striking up conversations with people I don't like. And I just got a weird vibe from him. I also don't like that he just suddenly appeared on the side of the road and asked for us specifically when like carts had passed him all day. I don't know. I just got weird vibes from this man.
But also, I think that there was like a point where you tried to check something and he was like intentionally being vague with you.
Yeah.
So that, in and of itself, is like, okay, well now we're getting two very different experiences from the same person. So where do we go from here?
Don't see anything wrong with the follow-up. I just don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, the thing is, like, if we just immediately kill him, we never get anything out of him again. If we try and do a follow-up, we can always kill him after that. You know?
Unless he's a really high-powered wizard and just away from us. And was just sent here to watch us and learn what he could about us this whole time.
Well, then I will hold on to his books so that if he poofs away, then at least we get to keep those.
All right.
So are we putting me in the zone of truth naked? Is that what I'm hearing? I'm confused how you're gonna get his books. Like, how are you gonna get a hold of his...
Yeah, he's got wizard robes,
Look.
which means he's got the pockets on the insides.
Sometimes I say the end goal of plans in hopes that other people just fill out the rest of the plan.
Sure. Well, it sounds like we're putting him into the zone of truth nude.
All right, so Zone of Truth, hold please. Need to remember how this spell works. Is prepared. How do you work? Okay. I am worried that because he was so evasive before when I was asking questions, he'll just do it again. In which case I might have to take my glove off and slap him with it. It's a thing that
Fair.
ladies do.
Yeah,
I saw it in a major image once.
right. I was
God,
gonna
I
say,
love this.
we haven't actually had the mage of the party talk to him. Maybe, like, we could bond over wizard shit. I don't
Do you
know.
want to try bonding over wizard shit today and then tomorrow we...
I
Zone
say
of
we
Truth
just
is
zone of
asked?
truth the whole
Yeah,
card.
just zone of truth, and, like, maybe I, as the mage, can be, like, good cop? And
Ooh,
somebody
you're gonna
else
do
can
good
be,
cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Smart.
like friendly nerd and also intimidating? I don't know.
Well, then we could have Juno with the Warhammer be bad cop.
Yep.
I don't know that I should ever talk to him again.
We already knew that.
But if I'm bad cop, then I might have to talk again. What if he also really likes Aster? Or at least,
So we put him in the zone of truth with two good cops.
yeah, good cop,
Okay.
good cop.
Good cop, good cop.
And
Niffer's not
Alta and
ready
I
for
sit
good
in the
cop.
front So I don't do anything stupid.
Okay. If I'm good copying in a cart, somebody needs to drive my cart. Then.
Well, I mean, we're resting because we've got the shits.
Okay.
We're
still on.
This is a solid plan. This is a solid plan, for sure.
Real quick, just so that way everyone believes that we're actually having bad meat. I'm gonna go. And she's just gonna like leave the conversation and walk into the next frame, where she's gonna sit behind a bush and make really loud groaning sounds in efforts to make people believe she ate bad meat.
You really want to sell this, don't you?
Watching that happen.
I want them to all leave us alone. I want everyone to go away.
Yeah,
I am a lady. I am in duress. I am not having a good time.
So Olta will identify her as Juno's current support, since since the identified plan is Aster and Eliseo being good cop. She will sigh heavily, climb down off the cart, and find a different shrubbery. And while making hard and uncomfortable eye contact with Juno, just shake her head and do the same thing.
All right, I think we just made this my favorite RP session ever.
My abs hurt so bad.
And she will think to herself the whole time, I should have stayed to be bad cop.
I still have to go back and cast Zone of Truth. I'm just trying to get everyone away from us. But thank you for joining me out here. Oh, God.
Everyone at the table is broken.
It's 11:06. I'm just gonna put that out there. For East Coast companions.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna head over to my coop friends and be like, hey, y'all go on without us. We probably ate something bad. And that's how I'm gonna help sell the story.
I mean, well, you have till morning. Surely it'll be gone by then, huh?
Well,
No.
I mean, you don't know her. She's a little over dramatic about it, but like it takes a little while to pass with her when she doesn't get sick often, but when she does, like she gets sick. So yeah, just.
All right. Well, we'll check on you.
We'll see you
morning.
around.
We're not going anywhere till morning anyway.
Yeah.
Wait, this is nighttime? I thought this was happening in the morning.
I thought this was the next day.
I thought this was the next morning.
I would go over the next morning to be like, hey, we're gonna stay here.
Oh, okay. We can make it the next morning.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all just go on without us.
Well, all right then. Best of luck with that. And they'd be like super awkward.
We all are super awkward about it.
Yep. I'll even start sweating from this social display. It's the worst.
Yeah, same.
Yep. Come back looking like we actually had diarrhea because we're so like embarrassed and sweaty and gross. I'm just gonna lay down for a second right here and then look to see if Aster and Eliseo are towards the back of the cart. She's like climbing on the front seat and is just laying across it. And like looking in the back to see if the other two have joined. Azbara Jos in the back of the wagon.
Yeah, I'll head towards that way after saying farewell to my coop buddies.
Yep, I'll head over there.
So
What is
several of you.
Good cop.
Oh, Icarus
cop,
is
healthy
totally
cop.
in on the shit show.
On the pooping.
On the people pretending the
literal
shit
shit
side
show.
of the shit show. So now you have sort of like two separate groups, separate from different directions, heading back toward the back of the cart. And as you're all a few feet away, you hear in a strained whisper, "Follow Mergules." And a flash of lightning hits the cart in dead silence. Jamna comes running out from the front of one of the other carts and says, "The fuck was that?" She pulls open the curtain of the back of the cart that Azbara was definitely in. A runic symbol is burned into the place that he sat. In the middle of it, a pile of 10 gold pieces. He is gone.
We made this whole
hey,
plan for nothing.
And
I
that's where
should
we're
have
gonna
killed
end
him
tonight.
last night.
You watched
Oops.
us plan this whole
My
time.
bad, guys.
Olta shit herself for this.
Reasonable
Hi.
to say that Azbara observed this entire plan and acted accordingly.
Oops.
Is the worst.
So Juno looking inside is just like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. He's dead.
That's where we're going to end tonight's session. Oh my god, that was so much fun, you guys.
I was trying to be discreet. I was whispering at the start of it.
This is going to be one of those things where at the end of the campaign, we're going to, like at the end of the campaign, we're going to have like a session ending talk about stuff that happened sort of session, and this is going to be a big topic in that
Yeah.
for many reasons.
Because this some bitch is coming back. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him.
Okay,
Thanks,
but what
I
if
need
he
it.
comes back?
I've
what
got
if he
Hunter's
comes back
Mark
and
on him
helps
now.
us?
Nice.
If
All
he
right,
comes back and helps us, I'll die.
I'll join the cult. If he comes back, helps us, I will guess the cult is good. I guess I'm joining it. I'm gonna kill him.
That's gonna be that blog. Like, we will have killed Tiamat and everything's gonna be great. What are you doing for the rest of your days? I am hunting down this one specific person.
Level 20 cleric just
With a
fucking
vendetta.
hunting through Faerun, trying to find one guy in a red dress. Get him.
All right, guys, let's go around the table one more time, do our quick outros. And then if we need to have a venting session off stream, we can totally do that. But we're running a little long, and I want to respect everybody's time. So, Heck, let's start with you, please.
Oh boy. Hey friends, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You know, you can find me at Sir Heckalot on all of the social medias, Twitch, Twitter, the works. In terms of where you'll see me next, actually might be the next episode of Tyranny of Dragons here. I'm going to be having a lot less screen time because I'm starting vet school next week.
Are you not
boy.
doing TPR?
No, TPR has been gone for a while.
Dude.
dude.
TR is dead, bro.
Dude.
Oh, man. My bad. I thought
It's
that was
fine.
a vacation thing. Okay.
Nope. Nope, it's been gone for a while.
Okay.
Ouch.
My bad.
It's fine.
We've all had a lot going on, okay?
It's fine.
I personally had a lot going on, and I've been out of touch. So, yeah. Okay.
All right, it's fine. But yeah, I'm over here doing Tyranny of Dragons and all of that. Sometimes at Harpers and stuff like that. And then I'm also over at Neon Lights Roleplay every other week, doing the Seven Sons, a D&D campaign, as well as In His Divine Name, an Only War campaign. That's about it for now. Just follow me on stuff to see what I do next. Move it on to Niffer.
Hey, I'm Niffer. This crazy thing is Marsh. And yeah, I will be here tomorrow night doing our Rime of the Frost Maiden game. It is our sports ball episode. I'm very excited about it. I know nothing about sports. It'll be great. And yeah, you can also find me hanging around Jasper's Game Day. They are a wonderful charity organization about the awareness and prevention of suicide. I highly encourage you to go check them out. We've got a lot of cool events coming up with different community ambassadors like myself and my friends. So go see them. They're pretty cool.
And it's me?
Yes.
It's me. Hello, everyone. It's still me, Corndog McGraw. Man, I'm not butthurt. It's fine. This has been a good session, guys. Doing our best. You can find me here on TPK Roleplay during Module Week. Only 2 days, one more time, because Curse of Strahd, Darkest Night, Brightest Light ends not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. And I'm gonna cry on stream, regardless of what happens, because I've already cried about it off stream. So now I'm just gonna make everyone deal with my feelings. But you can also catch me here, I think on Tuesday for Harpers. I think I'm in the next one. I'm not sure. We'll find out. But yeah, also in VPS whenever that returns. So that'll be dope when it does. I'm excited to punch Dracula in the face in that one. So, and eventually there'll be something coming out from Neon Lights Roleplay. Pay attention to that. It's gonna be big. Chrissy, thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Chrissy. I played Olta, our Kobold Swarmkeeper Ranger. Where can you find me? All over social medias at Chrissy Crits, doing all the things. What am I going to be doing on TPK? Coming up, I have a game with our friends over across the big pond, with Corndog as well. We have a UK-based game with some new players coming in. And then after that, I have a one-shot liminal horror that I will be running. It is a horror-themed game, kind of like Call of Cthulhu, The Void-esque, creepy shit with some mental health effects in there? Question mark? And then I'm always here every other week, every 2 weeks, for our Tyranny of Dragons game, which is amazing, and I'm glad we're back because now I can start to remember everything we need to remember, like how to play. And at the end of the month, we do have VPS starting up, I believe on the 30th, maybe? Is it the 30th of this month or next month? I think it's this month.
It is the 30th of August.
Definitely not tomorrow.
Definitely not tomorrow.
Definitely not tomorrow. I meant August. I'm already in August. I'm confused.
I was too. I was citing documents for August 23rd the other day, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, so in August, VPS starts back up. So you will find Aurora and Blake.
Not Blake on the 30th. I am not in the 30th one.
And
Offie's on the
Offie.
30th.
Well, I was just going to say, you'll find all of the characters frantically trying to figure out how the fuck we're going to kill Dracula.
Yep.
It's gonna go as well as this plan went, promise.
Aurora will not shit herself.
Neither will Blake. Blake is much more put together.
So is Aurora. Magic, back to you.
And Offie's a ghost, so she can't.
All right, I'm that Magic Juice. Exactly as you see it right here is my channel, where in the realm of TTRPGs, I am running another campaign entitled Tenements of the Great Rift. We also have a big return after a similar hiatus this coming Sunday, actually. We used to run every other Friday. That has moved to Sundays at noon Central Time. That is a mix of an existing D&D 5th edition module, Princes of the Apocalypse, and homebrew, and it's getting very, very deep into the homebrew side of things. So definitely check that out. We have an anniversary celebration happening this Sunday. That's going to be so much fun. I do other stuff there too, but that's the main gig, so I hope you guys check it out. Otherwise, we'll be back here again in 2 weeks Every time I think we're going to get into the next major city, it's like 3 more sessions before we actually do. But I'm actually pretty confident at this point that Waterdeep is happening as of our next session 2 weeks from now. So, if you think you know the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, especially starting next week, I guarantee you've never seen it done this way before. So, we hope to see you there. Stay safe, stay fun, stay friendly. We'll see you guys next time.